What's good? What's good, man? It's me. It's your brother Yango. What's happening with you? Uh, listen, looking forward to the show. Y'all give me a moment. Let me get everything together, man, so we can parlay. We can politic this thing. Waiting on for my brother Anka Cat of the Amin Ra Squad to come on. Mm. Y'all know what it is. It's 9 o'clock. Ankh about to come on. Let's get our minds right. I'm gonna get right with you. Ankh had heard the show with Vortex and I. And like uh, um, any good any person that is really up on their craft, up on their shit, they're gonna have something to say. Like Lex wanted to come on the show, so of course, I granted him that. I was like, man, come back on. Interesting to hear what he had to say, because if you didn't catch the show last night with Lex Vortex and I, go back and catch it. Go back and catch it. Lex brought a lot of high points, a lot of good points, especially for those of us that are spiritualists. So, that's why I said, man, we're sitting here waiting on Anka Cat. Love to hear the responses because it made a lot of sense. Brother was making a lot of sense. Did a little show earlier today, did a show on Mississippi. That is a trip. If you haven't caught that show, go back and check that one. That'll give you, it'll have you perplexed. I mean, I'm still fucking perplexed by the whole situation. I am still just like really blown away. How is this happening right here in the so-called land of the free, home of the brave, not a third world country, where people's political rights are absolutely being usurped, stolen, taken away, blatant as day. They're not trying to masquerade it, disguise it, or anything. Just outright, boop, there goes. You have no rights, black people, in your face. What you gonna do about it? So if you haven't heard that show, go back, listen to that show, because we're gonna be doing some follow-ups. Right now, like I said, waiting on my man Anka Cat to come on through to address to address some of the, just really the whole thing is his topic is science is counterintuitive. And I have to let Anka Cat explain exactly what that means. I'm sure, like I said, he's going to be addressing uh, some of the things that he had overheard or that he had heard on the show. So, yeah. In fact, let me do this. Just give me a hot second. See if we can get our guy on the line here. All right. I hope to change the time I had thrown him. Initially, it was slated for 8 o'clock. So now we're on 9 o'clock. So give me a minute. Let me try him again. All right. But until then, in the meantime, in between time, let's see Lex. Get Lex up here. Lex, I'm gonna give my man a few minutes, and then I guess we're gonna drop the link and have a build. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Look at you rubbing it in. Look at you rubbing it in. Vortex rubbing it in. Yeah, man. Uh, am I surprised? Am I surprised? That is a good question. I, I think I'm not really surprised, because anything the devil does doesn't really surprise me. I think I'm just well, I don't know. Is shock and surprise the same, or maybe just really just blown away at the boldness of the devil? Like, yeah, surprise. I guess there's no way around that. I really, at some point in time, I'm surprised at their audacity. I'm surprised at like the complete, like them to just completely come out and and be flagrant with it. Like, we're not gonna hide it, we're not gonna disguise it, we're not gonna masquerade it. This is what it is. And not only that, not only am I surprised, you know, I'm the one. I'm honest even when it doesn't serve me well. It doesn't make my disposition look good. It doesn't make me look at it like, oh, 1 minute you was this, 1 minute you're that. But I do believe in that part of evolution that Anka Cat is talking about. I believe that human beings must evolve. And a part of evolution is being truthful. If you're not truthful with yourself, if you're going to stand on a lie, or if you're going to stand against the very thing, stand on something that is absolutely sinking and failing, then, you know, you're an idiot. And I might be a fool, but I'm not a damn idiot. And so here's the honesty of it. My feelings are hurt to really find out that I really must have had faith that they would somehow uphold. Did I have faith they would uphold that constitution? I don't even know if I have faith. I think just more or less, like I said, I'm just blown the fuck away. There's no other way to describe that. I am blown the fuck away. That's what it comes down to. I am blown away that they would actually come out and just do that. What's good? What's good, introvert? Sitting here, man. I thought my man would fall through. We're gonna give him a few more minutes. If not, we're gonna. You know what though? I'm gonna drop the panel, and then when he comes through, I'm just gonna be an ass and kick you guys. But right now, man, we're gonna have a kicking session. Let's have a motherfucking kicking session. So I'm gonna drop. I'm dropping the link. You know. I ain't fucking with you, man. I ain't fucking with you, bro. Go ahead. Anyway, okay. Let me see. So you're not a proud black nationalist. American Constitution. It's no more. No, I'm still a proud. I'm still the proud and strong black nationalist. I still believe in us as being unique. The black people, the melanated people here in America, being a unique people, being the extenuation of the African saga, of the African chapter. I pay homage and I respect the place of my origin, or a very big, large, or very big percentage of the place of my origin in my makeup. I pay homage to that. I have a reverence for it and I respect it. I even have a love for my cousins still on the continent. However, I will never not feel so connected to the struggle of my ancestors that not only started in the place of our origin, but that continued through the Ma'afa, through that horrific transatlantic slave trade, to come over here to go through horrific conditions, to be subjugated to some of the most unbelievable tortures, to the worst treatment of any human being in the annals of in the annals of history, any human being. And to come out of that uh with what we possess, I think is a feat to be recognized in itself. I think is a feat to be recognized in itself. Let's bring up my man. What's good, Vortex?
Hey yo, Yanga man. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, bro, why is it hard for y'all to just grasp that a brother could be the anointed one, man?
What are you talking about? Wait, that a brother could be the anointed one.
Yeah, I'm the one that the universe and the ancestors have sent. the answers, and it's being proved over and over again. But I think y'all believe I'm just saying a narcissistic thing, but and I really think y'all don't believe it because I'm black,
Mm-mm.
But
I absolutely believe you're anointed. I absolutely believe that you possess a gift that is unique to Lex. But pardon me if I don't believe, if I don't
Lex,
have a I don't have a Masonic
no, not Masonic.
desire. I don't, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so yeah, I believe you're chosen. I listen to it. I listen to your teachings. I hear the Spirit move through you.
I'm saying though, a couple of weeks ago, I was trying to tell. I mean, y'all were talking about, yeah, you too much on this African stuff and America. We're still, what was it? Y'all saying, yeah, you know, there's no place like America, and we're black nationalists, but we're constitutionalists, and we can work it out right here in America, and
Hmm.
you know, Africans really ain't, dealing. I'm just saying, man, just come on to the dark side, man.
I told you, I
Under
shouted. I told you, I said, if anything, my affiliation to the dark side, because I'm swayed. I'm swayed. I'm seduced in tad bit by the dark side. But I have to know, I get into the whole that thing. I really be into it. So I'm what they call a dark Jedi. I'm not fully there to be a Sith or Sith Lord, because the Sith are more traditionalist. The Sith hold to a certain understanding. To me, that's you guys with the whole African thing. But the dark Jedi had one view. So I'll be the first of the fall, and I'll fall off from a Jedi or to be a dark Jedi. How? Because let me address a few of those things that you brought up. One, this is like Inyame said, this is a challenge to the black constitutionalists. This is a challenge to the black
uh,
constitutionalists. Here, the Constitution is being violated. You know,
Lets you know how foolish Black Sun and Trevor and all them dudes is foolish, bro.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, with all due respect, they're like, there's no way to get around that, and I'm not even surprised. I mean, y'all must have been seduced by the Jedi. Why are y'all surprised? And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no easy way around the situation, you know, and I be under heavy attack, man. People don't even know. They just think I'm YouTubing and but in like everyday life, man, it's a spiritual battle
Hmm.
and the message is
Hmm.
strong. But yeah, man, there ain't no compromising right now with the beast. And sometimes we still want to believe that it's not what it is. And they don't
Absolutely.
they're not including us. They're giving you trinkets, and we have submitted.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly concur with that.
And that
And in addition, I gotta add though, Lex. In addition with that, see here, what it is a battle of two extremes. Jackson is a battle of two extremes. It shows, on the one hand, the complete fallacy in believing, the complete falsehood. It's fake as fuck if we believe that we're afforded some protection under the Constitution just out of the good merit and the good nature of the devil. It also, on the opposite hand, shows the lack of two things. One, really pushing that ideology amongst black people, and the apathy to in participating in their politics. Now, since they haven't participated in their politics or were forbidden to participate in their politics, then the other thing should have happened, participating in a separation policy. And that's preparing for that. Like if I was in Jackson, man, I'd be up in fucking arms. I'd be ready to take up motherfucking arms.
I wouldn't.
I'd have to
I
move
I
then. I'd have
expect
to move. What would
them.
you do? Sit there and be subjugated to that shit?
No, we need to start thinking about an independent black government and get
Indeed.
away from the Wazungu. I am not moved at all. I expect them to do what they do. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing their job. We never like just because they came out and like you said and they did it like outright, like more in your face. But it's been like that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they rock brothers to sleep. And that's why you got people talking about, um, you know, I tell people, man, people are agents known and unknown. When you start talking to black people about really separating and getting free and, you know, doing the work, they start getting scared. They start worrying about how they're gonna eat and what they're gonna wear and where they're gonna live, and
I think
and
I think a lot of people though want to know what that first step looks like. Like as a long term goal,
that's the problem. That's the problem. We're in unknown territory.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we don't plan and organize, but you know, I think that's what I'm talking about. It's still about this wanting to do things in a very comforting way, like, this has never been done. There is no precedent for this.
Right, but what is the like even with all that, with Jackson coming down like Jackson came down, it's real. It's undeniable. Even if you say, okay, I told you. So what is the first step? What's the first advice? If people like, okay, yeah, fuck it. What is our first step? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, see,
So,
that's why I said
well,
if
now it's you come together
mhm.
and start moving, and you got to have the you got see. Unc was saying the other day, you can't skip any steps. Like building a nation, you can't skip any steps, and that's just a agent excuse to turn people off from becoming a nation. But what I'm saying is, the first step is you got to have the intention and know where your purpose and direction is.
Mhm.
That's the first step. So
Mhm.
until black people decide that they're going to be an independent nation, how can you even begin with a physical step?
Because I think black people have decided that. I think we're in the stage of
What?
fighting for
Man,
yes,
it was
yes.
just 2 weeks ago that y'all were constitutionalists. How do
Listen,
black people? It's,
because here's how we decide. Because your independent nation may look like a cultural exodus. And no disrespect, I love what you're doing, but the Swahili, the things of that nature, it doesn't speak to a tangible motherfucking reality. Like what they're gonna tell, they can't gonna speak Swahili to them pigs busting their motherfucking head down there in Jackson. My first step is I think all the people who have that step of
well, hold on, hold
nationhood,
on. See, saying speaking Swahili has nothing to do with defending yourself against the
yeah,
Wazungu.
the ones
Physic. See,
I
that's what I'm saying. A nation has a language, though, brother.
I listen. I'm not listen to me. That's what I'm saying. Don't be defensive. I agree with it. When you broke down Wazungu, I see how it fits into our everyday. But when we take on, it isn't just so much coon. It isn't just so much white man. It is the whole foreign behavior, and I can see how it goes into a natural ordinance of things. When you inject something foreign into the body, or when the body has something foreign, it naturally expels it. It destroys it. So I get where you're going with the whole Wazungu. Once you break it down in that term, I'm like, okay, that's heavy. I'm not dissing the language. What I'm saying is practical first fucking steps. And here's where my radical militancy comes in.
You're talking
Because
about physical steps,
yes, yes.
right? That's what I'm trying to tell you, though. You're skipping steps when
What
you're
step
trying
am I
to get
skipping?
practical, physical steps. Okay, so what I'm saying is we have to decide that we're going to build a building in order to start in order to even get to the point where we start gathering materials.
We've do I here's my point of where my pushback on that vortex. I think we have decided. I think we didn't decide. I think we couldn't decide on what material to use. I think every
When
people
did we decide that?
from Malcolm X, Martin Delaney, from the time we were brought over this
Uh,
motherfucker,
when did they? No,
we
bro, they
we you
haven't
don't think we
decided.
decided for independence? We just didn't decide
No,
how we were gonna get there. Nah,
we have
I'm a
never collectively had a majority of black people decide that they were going to be an independent nation. If you talk to the average black person, they talk like Black Sun. They talk about they just saying Like they talk like Trash Rockwell. Fix your credit,
Hmm.
get loans. Let's just do what we got to do
So
here. We
you
have not
wait.
we have not had a collective consciousness where it was a clear cut vision and goal that we are going to be a nation and create an independent government, and that we were going to be a sovereign people. It,
We have had groups of people, I think, waiting on that collective mass like that is a colossal waste of time. We've had groups who have said that they were going to be the governments of nations. Let's go to the Nation of Islam. We can go to the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association, African Community League. Let's go to the Republic of New
when did
Africa.
they
We can
ever
that
decided that they was going to be a nation, though? I'm
they
talking
have
about, they've been saying like they didn't really mean it. It wasn't really defined. It
Lex,
was like,
they have sent people to the UN. You got the descendants of the DOS movement. These people
I'm
have
gonna have to wait for another six. You'll catch up in 6 months again, just like
yeah. I
like
no I
Since Marcus Garvey even, you know, um, he never said, "Yo, we're going here and we're gonna establish this as our nation or anywhere." And even he was the close. But since then, when has there been a decision since Marcus Garvey to in any organization that said our end goal is to be an independent black nation somewhere? Give me one organization.
Lex, the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa, whose headquarters is Hines, Mississippi. That is still their charter. That's what I'm telling. That's what I'm trying to
Uh,
explain.
how deep
I
are they? And I never even really heard of them before you. And
I'm gonna do a
what land mass have they targeted?
they have targeted the 5 states of Louisiana,
See
South
what I'm
Carolina,
talking about?
Alabama.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. That's not. That's
It is, brother. Here's what I'm saying. If you're waiting on everybody, every black person in the
not
world to
waiting.
follow, check me out, brother. If you're expecting every black person in the world to follow Lex Vortex, good luck. I hope it isn't on a time clock, my man. Here's what I'm saying. Now listen to my proposal. Let my radicalism come in. See, because we need spiritualism. We need the dark side. We need that spiritual cultural push. I'm not knocking that. Now it's time for some motherfucking practical, radical, maybe even some militant solutions. Here's my dream of motherfucking dream. Because I just don't believe black people will all of a sudden come together on some consensus to say we
Only
have to.
the ones that are awake. And I
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
plan.
the ones that
The
wake. So
plan.
we have to declare the enemy. We have to show them to fight. If any of us are serious at no other time, then now is an opportunity for us to express that seriousness. If we have our so-called black gun clubs out there, the Grandmaster Jays, all these groups that came in, I ain't gonna holler out some of the gun clubs because I know y'all. I don't even. That's a whole nother motherfucking YouTube. But if they serious about defense, now is the time more than ever. Jackson, Mississippi is going to need a defense force against these imperialist colonial forces that are going to come in and treat them like third world country. Materials and resources. Their water is already fucked up, but they're going to need materials because this district, these crackers are about to snatch up industry. Taxation is going to be incredible. They're already talking about reducing the social program. And as far as health and shit, I think Jackson, Mississippi is already 50 something, on the list of 50 as far as states under healthcare coverage. So they're already impoverished like a motherfucker. Now they finna criminalize niggas. Basically, what I'm saying is war has been openly declared. War has been on all the counter, all the subterfuge, all the undercover war, all of this black shit, all us trying to decide if we're at war, if we're not. The black constitutionalists, the Pan Africanists, the radical black nationalists, regular black people. War has openly been declared on us in the form of Jackson. The front is Jackson, Mississippi. And the front
Yeah.
is Jackson, Mississippi.
I have the plan. I
Talk
have
to me.
the whole plan laid out for. We see no nation has a majority of the people on one accord, not even white people. It's it's the the ones who do have the consciousness is the one who control the tide of the river. So we have enough, just what we call the conscious community. It's probably, I say, I'm talking about with all the different groups, I probably say 1 million deep. If and that's probably a 500,000. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the Israelites. I'm talking about the conscious Muslims, even like some of the conscious Christians, the Kemetic brothers, the Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, or whatever, the Wabians, whatever form of consciousness you're in. But you realize what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably, we might be a million out of the 40 so-called million, and that's really all you need. And
Yep.
now at this point, now all you need organization, and I have the organizational plan for that in terms of how we're going to have the economics to fund what we intend to do. That's all we got to do is organize that faction of people,
Mm-hmm.
because you're
Mm-hmm.
never going to get, like, no one does that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like what percentage of Europeans in America are actually involved in the controlling the empire.
Right.
Most every day, Joe Sixpack is just as ignorant as
Right. Just going
Pookie
through life.
in
Where
that's what I'm saying.
and that's
So
what they want. And that's what they want,
so
actually.
we have what we need. It's just that it's not organized. And I have organized that.
Well, we're listening. Share
Yeah,
do
yeah.
share.
I mean,
Go ahead.
you
Yeah, I
know what
know
I'm
you
saying?
can't go into the whole,
Well, I
I
could.
would
I'm just saying that's like a whole show though, but like
well.
I've kind of presented it before. If you go on my page, I have a video called "The Nimrodian Organization of the Conscious Community," where I kind of go into it.
Mhm.
But you know, I
Uh,
think brothers got to wake up. See, the thing is though, what's holding us back is people like Unc. That's what I'm trying to. I don't have nothing really. Well, I do have something personal with Unc, but in terms of this, it's not personal. Like when I people think when I like attack the Brother Baines Network and these so-called people in front of us, to me, they're like in my way, in my people's way with their, because if you talk to the Amon Ra squad, they ain't never talked about an independent nation. And every time they always gonna speak against it. Just like Black Sun and the rest of them, and Sa Satan. Tariq Nasheed ain't talking about no independent nation. He's focusing on trying to get reparations from his enemy and building a museum. You see what I'm saying? I can go to
mhm.
any
Mhm.
so-called black leader in that we know right now, and I'm 15 steps ahead of them and 20 times smarter than them, because they don't have an end goal
Mhm.
of really ever trying. This is what I'm trying to relate, like the consciousness of independence. They don't
Mhm.
have it. They don't bring it to the people. It's not at the forefront of the conversation, so that
Mhm.
those that are conscious have an end goal and a mission. Right now, we're just like, okay, let's fight to get where,
Mhm.
to do what. You see what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
if you're not talking about independence and sovereignty, then you're just in the way.
Yeah.
And I am the one that it's obviously that the ancestors have ordained and commissioned me, because ain't no one else talking like me. I'm not saying there's no one else talking similar stuff, or I'm not saying I'm the only one. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
until my people accept me at some point, they're going to be lost, because they're going to keep following people like Tariq Nasheed and
Mhm.
Umar Johnson. And you got people talking about building schools in America. You got people talking about building museums. in America. You got people talking about fixing their credit and you know, and like all this, y'all they're just in my way. They're in
Hmm.
my way. And so what I'm selling to you, I hear you. What's your sign? Let me guess. You are a Aries or a Sagittarius?
No, actually not. But
A
I deal with a
Leo?
lot of no. I'm a Earth sign. I'm a Virgo.
Virgo. Okay, see? That was I was going. You're very, and this is where wisdom comes in. That's why you're so practical. My sister's a Virgo's
Hmm.
a very demanding, more a lot of time hardworking, practical. They want to see results. They're
Hmm.
impatient. Like,
Hmm.
but so I understand the practicality of what you're saying because we're used to hearing so much rhetoric, like, okay, like the talk.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the? But what I'm saying is the consciousness is the practical thing because it, like I said, like it's never been a decision made,
Yeah.
and we got so many people pulling us in so many different directions that, and then you got. I posted a video by Dr. Amos Wilson. It was called Wilson versus Domo, Black Sun, and Team Arena. And Amos Wilson obliterated that individualism talk.
Hmm. Hmm.
You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And
Hmm.
I got to deal with those people. Totally lost. You know what I'm saying? So it's
You know,
too many directions. You know what I'm saying?
I
And
agree.
and the reason why there's so many directions is because there's not a clear cut end goal. So if you open this panel and bring up 10 people and say, what is the end goal of black people? Somebody's gonna say, well, man, we just want to make sure we got the right benefits, take care of our family, man. And that's somebody else is going, they're gonna give you like all these answers. And that is the trickery of the enemy. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So, the ancestors have chose me to bring the clear message. But I think it's hard for people to believe because it's who's this nigga? What you
I,
got? Well, like
yeah,
I'm the one that it ain't happening
you
because
you you always gonna have that though. They say, and I'm gonna hit you with the Abrahamic scripture. I believe it's biblical. Some of my biblicals could probably correct me or throw it in the chat or something. But they say, verily, according to them, verily a prophet is without honor in his own home. So
exactly.
it's usually your own people. But here's what I wanted to add to it though, because I believe consciousness is just ever evolving as man evolves and as man begins to recognize their place. When I say men, I mean all collectively, sisters, all of us collectively. Uh, begin to recognize our place and take our rightful place. That spirit, that consciousness expands and opens up this new understandings and a new awareness and connectedness to the creator. However, while that's taking place and in the process, in the meantime, in between time, I think that we still deal with a social, cultural, political construct that has to be just as evolving, that has to be addressed, waiting for a consensus, waiting for people to come to the fruition of whom you feel that the ancestors have chosen you to be and to walk into the destiny that is yours is, like I said, I think would just be a colossal waste of time. You have to not have to have. I suggest we as black people have a practical plan. While we're planning,
All right,
we
let me
have
give you my practical economic plan. And I tried to, and you know what's crazy? I gave my plan to Unc. I tried to, like, I had them all on the phone like 10 years ago. So I been had the plan. Unc, Sonetta, Brother Polite, Tazariak, I had them all on the phone. And I told them what we need to do in the conscious community. And so the economic plan to unite the conscious community that I had, and I told them what the conscious community needs to do is create a Vatican corporation, right? So just like um, you have the Catholic Church. You got all kind of Catholic churches. There's thousands of mini churches, but there's a Vatican flag, and all those Catholic churches pay their tithes to the Vatican. Now, the conscious community is the banner. That's the corporation. The sub corporations. Now, on the conscious community board of directors is a representative of each organization and philosophy and thought. All right. So you have the board of directors. I'm just talking in corporate language. You know what I'm saying? So you have Captain Desariak on the board. He represents the Israelites. You have Jabari on the board. He represents the Kemetic community. You have Yanga on the board. Just for example, he represents the Black Panthers. You have such and such. He represents the Nuwabians. You have such and such. He represents the RBG community, and so on and so on. And it must be fraternized. So every member of the conscious community has a representative from their organization in this corporation. And it must be fraternized where everyone pays dues to the corporation. All right. Just like any other fraternity, whether it be $10 a month, just like a fraternity. So this is your economic structure, and this is how you unite all the different conscious groups politically, and so on that board of directors, they all have representation. So nobody's worried about, oh well, the Israelites' interests are not being represented. The whatever, whoever, whatever organization. So now those 500,000 people I told you about that are conscious are now under the same banner, right, called the conscious community. This is just an example. And they all have a representation on the board of directors, and everyone is paying their dues to this fraternity. Now, 500,000 times 10 is 5 million, I believe. So that's $5 million a month from the conscious community. So that is our economic part of our economics. Now, once you do that, now you have a board of directors, and also behind them you have a what we call the council of elders, right? And so that's the wisdom behind this. But then you have, of course, you have to have experts in different fields. So
Right.
you got
I
your
think
so you have your economics, you got Dr. Claude Anderson for
right.
the economic side of it. You got the this and that. But now we have the economics going and money we need to invest. And we have, without even having to agree, you are united under one thing. And now you have you have centralized your power
Hmm.
economically in terms of those few people. We don't need 40 million black people. Now
Right.
we got 5, 10, $20 million a month. Now, what do
I
we
think
do?
here, yeah, there you go. I think that that's where when some of the conflict may come in is distribution. What is, the collection, let's keep rolling with what you're going with. Could let's say in that worked. I like to hear the distribution plan. What is money's going to, and you know, um,
Exactly. The money
yeah,
is going to fund our institutions and programs and our war, not necessarily whatever it is, but so now, right, let's just say now at the end of the year, we have $60 million. This is yearly now. Remember, now that's what the board of directors for, and that's what Nimrod is for. So now we prioritize, whether it be land, whether it be institutions, whether it be lobbying, whether it be whatever. But that's why we have a board of directors and we have wise elders behind us
hmm
and say, okay, what do we need to do? We can invest in Africa. We can go look at maybe where we want black land. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is now we have the option, but now we have the Dr. James Smalls and the elder leaders to guide us. We have the financial experts over here, and we got representations from all the different groups. And so now we begin to move. Now, of course, I can tell you what we need to do because my
Hmm.
priority would be black land. But
Hmm.
but that's why, but the point is people always want to go more. Like you have to start walking. So I don't exactly what the first people want to, well, what's the first thing we're gonna do after the first five? It's like, yo, let's get the organization and
I
and
you
get together and we're moving. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So it's like, but that no one that is the best plan. That's what the divine spirit and the ancestors are giving me. I haven't heard nothing better. It
Right.
will unite the conscious community. And I talked to Sarnetta, Ankh, Tazariak, and Polite on the phone about this 10 years ago. You know what Ankh, you know what
Let me.
Polite said?
What's that?
You ain't never gonna be able to do that with niggas. You wanna know what Ankh said?
What?
You can't do that with none of them religious nutbags. Because as soon as we have a meeting, one of them is going to want to start praying to Yahweh before the meeting.
I could when those are the
So
obstacles. Those are real
no, they're
obstacles.
not. Those are
Listen,
that's
listen,
not
Lex. Listen, listen. Those
when
are
you have a business when it's set up
but
in a
that's
like.
they're telling you
Do
why.
you have that obstacle when you go? If you ever been a
No,
member of the gym?
no. That but they're
No,
telling you
because
what, Lex.
it's separate from your personal.
Listen, but they can't separate it. See, when someone's telling you, I heard someone wise once say, I think it was Maya Angelou, said, believe what people tell you they are the first time. You know what I'm saying? If they're creating those obstacles for themselves, which they clearly are, if they say niggas can't or you can't because that they have the can't in their life. Let me give me 2 minutes while I run down, and I like what you're saying. And I agree with you. I would love to see that because I believe we can all work in a spirit of cooperation and harmony. I'm just a little more closer to the earth. I'm a little more field oriented. Like you said, it's that Black Panther in me. If we start with collectives, I would start with collectives. I think Jackson, Mississippi is a prime place to exercise this, to flex our muscles. Those people that serious, we start with um, a hub. We get down there, we start with a place that gets the resources in. We start getting the masses of people water. We start making sure they got food stuffs. We
You
start
need
making,
to do that.
you
And
know
I
what?
just gave you the salvation economic plan of the conscious community.
I understand that, but however, let me say in conjunction with your plan there, my brother, while we're waiting for those brothers who feel like they can't get past certain obstacles, we're immediate relief aid. And in being that immediate relief, being that aid, you endear yourself to the masses of people. You win their hearts and minds. They're gonna want to know what you on because just like the Panthers did, them grits was a motherfucker.
Right.
Hot
But
breakfast.
this is why I'm saying that these guys, the Brother Baines Network, that's why I said they're in the way. You understand what I'm saying? Like in terms of the voices, the true voices that the ancestors, even voices like your own, are not being heard because spiritually these people have been empowered. That's where the fight is.
Mm-hmm.
And people are mesmerized by the allures of the shaitan. Like
Yeah.
the sensational, the this and that, like this person is popular. And that is the agent stuff that we got to get around. And
Mm-hmm.
not many people are willing to stand up to that because it's unpopular.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm not saying they can't stop nothing in terms of what they represent. They believe in the capitalism. They believe in all of that. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no way they can ever move the people, but they have the minds of the people. So I have to break their power. That
Mm-hmm.
is my assignment
Mm-hmm.
in order to bring the people to me and the ancestors to implement what I know is effective. There is, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying in terms of the other stuff you added, that's all fine. But we can do that. But what I'm saying is when we have that organization, Yanga, you're in charge of that hub in Mississippi. Here's your
Mm-hmm.
budget.
Mm-hmm.
Here's 25,000 a month. Handle what you got to do down there.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
until we put that infrastructure in order, where we have some centralization of economics and power, all of it is just going to remain rhetoric. See, now
Right.
when that happens, easily we can go. Hey, Yanga says, he has an idea to be a relief in Mississippi and set up this and this and that. Okay, board meeting, bloom, bloom, bloom. How do we approve the funds? Blam.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Bam. Now, what you're saying is, you there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that, brother.
It's but here's where your power is going to come in, Lex. Like when these figures that you're mentioning, these great movers from Buddha to Muhammad to the Christ to all of these great movers of history of men, whether they were literal or figuratively, that energy has moved people to feats, fucking miraculous feats that have been marked in history. Um, when you endure the masses of people, those conscious people, those Pharisees and Sadducees, those people who are really false teachers and false leaders of the people misleading the people will be in danger of the people tearing them apart. When you feeding the people, when the people hear the message and see the the doers of the message, for lack of better words, they will rip the charlatans apart. The people
Good.
will get, yeah.
That's gonna happen. My power and influence is increasing. Y'all are gonna see, because the attacks on me. But the more I meditate and get into it, you're gonna see more and more people are gonna start to hear the message and realize that even all your messiahs have been false. All your It's like you're gonna wake up to the matrix, and realize the oracle was just another agent.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? She was
Yeah.
another program. And that's what the people don't realize. And it hurts them. I know. It's like taking away someone's hero is a lot.
Hmm.
It's like, how many people believe and follow Tariq Nasheed, and he looks successful. He's making movies. And then some little old bum ass nigga like Lex that was born in a poor city called Nazareth is coming along talking about he got the answers. I'm saying,
Hmm.
that these stories play out in real life. They said in the Jesus story, they said, who is this guy?
Hmm.
Wasn't that nigga born? Wasn't he born in Compton?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
Tariq Nasheed, he's an agent. Now, that's not comfortable for people who then donated him $2 million. We don't want to believe we've been duped. Saw Satan is an agent. You know what I'm saying? Ankh is an agent. I don't, and when I say
Those are
agent,
no,
I
yeah.
need people
You
to be
gotta
clear.
break, yeah. You gotta be clear on that because those are, like you said, this
I
is
know,
one of the things I'm glad you set the tone for. You said, Black Panther man. There's certain things, there's certain vernacular, there's certain energies that we thought. Agent is a big word in my world. You
I
know what I'm
know, and I
saying?
don't
And I
use
fuck
it.
with, yeah, and
I
I
don't
fuck
use
with
it
Uncle Cat.
loosely.
Okay, so you gotta,
All right.
yeah,
What
yeah.
I'm
So you gotta
saying is
let me know what you mean by agent.
agents known and unknown. So whether it be an agent through possession or agent through pay, it's the same to me. So Unc may not be a government agent, but either way, he's an agent. Whether it's just his position and his effect on the community. You see what I'm saying? Like Tariq Nasheed, I wouldn't doubt if he was a government agent, but even if he's not a government agent, he's still an agent out of ignorance. He's
Mm-hmm.
possessed by archonic forces, or he just, whatever it is, they put and promote people, that they know won't really move the people to no real action, or don't have the real intelligence or organizational skills to
Yeah,
make it happen.
yeah.
So,
They're called saboteurs. There actually is an agent class of that saboteurs,
so
and a lot
you
of us
know what
act as
I would
agents against
do
ourselves.
if I mean, bro, they just gave this man 1 point almost $2 million.
Hmm. Hmm.
God damn, bro.
I mean, it's a big burden. That's a big. You really have to love the people when you start seeing that type of money coming in. And I can. That's why I agree with you when you talk about these foreign concepts. It really is a big temptation. You know, I can only imagine. I don't envy anyone that is tempted by that. I don't wish for the day to ever be tempted by that. I pray for the day whenever that comes into my lap, I'm at the place where I can handle that. I can only imagine because I would hate to go down in history. I don't know the specifics of Tariq Nasheed. I don't know the specifics, but I would hate to come up under that scrutiny and that type of motherfucking pressure, man, for robbing the people, man. You're not supposed to take a needle or thread
He didn't rob
from
him.
masses. I mean, if you miss, if you're, you can rob people with misspelling. You know, we want to talk about magic. If you're misleading the people, if you're saying you're doing one thing and you're doing something different, you're robbing the people. You can be intellectually robbing them. You can be robbing them of their sincerity and their blind faith. You know, just of their naivety, robbing them of their
Reality,
innocence.
bro. Like the truth is is it's a hard pill to swallow. It's just like when I first seen that video of that dude who was a agent in the Black Panthers, I was shocked.
Hmm.
The dude came out and said, "Yeah, I was an agent. I was
Hmm.
joining the Panthers and I was organizing and like." Could you imagine though at that time with people that had relationships with that guy and everything, and were friends with that guy, and
Hmm.
someone comes along like such and such is an agent. It's unreal. It's like nobody wants to imagine if imagine if okay, imagine if it really came out, right? I'm talking about
Hmm.
officially paperwork that say Farrakhan was a CIA.
Like it did on Al Sharpton.
Yeah, people would, it's almost like they be shocked. Not some people wouldn't be, because
Hmm.
people already suspected, but it's one thing to suspect it, but when it really becomes a reality, I think it's like people feel they don't want to feel stupid and duped. So when I be calling people agents and talking about the reality of today, when you're living in the time, it's hard to have hindsight. You know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
got to kind of project forward and then look backwards. You
Right.
know? So like 20 years from now, who like I can imagine the information that will come out about some of these people, and people will be like, wow, wow, you know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
so our people don't know what they're in. They don't understand the situation. That's why they're not trying to get the hell out like that. Because there are people, agents known and unknown, that are telling them, oh no, it's not that bad. No, all we gotta do is go to college still. Follow the rules. Oh, we got our health benefits and all this stuff in America. And so when I come along, I look like the goddamn lunatic.
Hmm.
You see? That is what a COINTELPRO is. They make the people with the answers look crazy. So I'm like, yo, we gotta get out of here, yo. What are you talking about? I'm living pretty good.
Hmm.
So, man, it's a tough situation, but the fight goes on, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like things like the ancestors, everything is not a bad thing. Sometimes our people don't wake up until they feel pain.
Hmm.
That's why things like the Mississippi joint is a good thing. I'm happy about that.
Well, I mean, here it is to me. We felt it before. Like when you, it's to me, it's only like fucking the sheep. It's only like fucking the sheep. When you're domesticated, you're domesticated. If you don't have no bite back, it's just as simple as that. And if they can get away with this once again, because all this is pre 1965, it's pre civil rights. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
mean, it's just
They've already
so
gotten away with it.
exactly. So it's a throwback to a
Why?
old.
Yeah.
It's to an old era.
Why did they
So
get away with it? Because of people
be,
like Unc.
because they can. Because they can.
No, it's because of people like Unc. Because listen, whether people want to know or not, right? They won't admit it because people say, "I don't follow no man, and we don't need no leaders." That's stupid. Of course, we need leaders, and there's always going to be people that are, have, stronger voices that are appealing that represent the people.
Mm-hmm.
So believe it or not, like, you know how many people saw Satan as a leader? Like how many people think Tariq Nasheed is the one with the answers? You know
Mm-hmm.
how many people
Mm-hmm.
believe Umar Johnson
Mm-hmm.
is, you know what I'm saying? So that's what they're going on.
Right.
Me and you, who are you compared to Tariq Nasheed?
To none of them guys.
So what I'm saying,
Everybody
and
is just
that's
their
why
buddy.
they sleep, and that's what agents do. So what do we
Mm-hmm.
have to do? We have to be radical and sensational to break that spell. I have to call. I gotta tell it like I know it's not popular, but we gotta have some shock treatment. Because
Mm-hmm.
the only other way people are going to wake up is when they really feel that pain, when they really hanging from trees again, which might be a good thing because our
Mm.
people are going to be comfortable and talk trash and act like they got it going on until the devil shows them their face again.
I just don't believe it. We've seen the face of the devil. We looked in the face of pure evil and we are
We fell
docile.
asleep again, though.
We didn't we yeah, we because the very when you begin to talk about domesticating a people and the black African here, this is why I said one of the things, kudos, man. Shouts out to the dark side. Um Double Master Teacher Blue, High Priestess Akasha, my man Blackologist, and everybody. And shouts out to all the progressive black radical revolutionary black channels out there pushing the message. When you domesticate a people, when you make their nature, their very nature, a dependent nature, or make their, I ain't gonna say their nature, when you make their social cultural understanding and their social cultural interaction that one of dependency, then it takes a lot to stoke them to fight. It takes a lot. You have to back them almost into the wall, not just the corner. We've looked into the face of pure evil. This right here, they doing this because they feel like they can get away with it. And
Yeah,
they're about to prove they can get away with it. Now it's, we've been barking, barking, barking. I'm not saying we have to stop barking when we
they haven't
bite,
even
but a
been
bite
barking.
has to a bite. Well, whatever, but a bite has to accompany a kick. If you kick me, then we have to bite. And then either you just need to stomp me to death or I'm going to gnaw you to motherfucking death. I'm going to get to the jugular, one or the other.
Right,
But at
right.
some point in the line, some point in time, we have to draw a line in the sand. And here is a immediate, like, attack. Jackson, Mississippi is the front line. And I'm
Yeah,
asking my
I'm just
militants,
saying, but that's kind of what moved you. I already understood Jackson, Mississippi 10 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you do you know during the Haitian Revolution, the Dahomey Queens, what are those things they used to fire off? Those the black long, what do you call them? You know how
uh,
stuff it and they shoot the
oh, the
black big.
muskets, like a musket or
It's
something.
like it almost shoots like a bowling ball out.
Oh, a cannon.
Cannon.
Yeah.
You know, the Europeans used to use cannons.
Mm-hmm.
The Dahomey Queens took their babies and stuffed them in the cannons
Hmm.
so they wouldn't be able to fire off. So when we talk about things like NARD participation and we talk about the sacrifice it takes and all that stuff, you know, we don't necessarily gotta go to the extreme of NARD participation, but I'm saying that people don't understand if the reason why people want to keep trying to find the path of least resistance because they don't know what they in, and that's what the enemy has
Mm-hmm.
mastered now. If you straight
Mm-hmm.
up put people in chains, eventually they're gonna revolt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, if they would have gave the slaves some nice quarters and did like, if they would have think about it, bro, if they would have treated us nice, we'd still be picking cotton today, probably, bro.
After
If they,
after maybe the first 3 or 4 generations, that freedom is something real. That's a spirit hard that you gotta. That's why I know the brutalities that they visited upon us must have been horrendous, because to take the desire for freedom out of a motherfucker, I can't imagine what you have to do
yeah,
to a
but you
person
can
for
take the desire for freedom if it's just like a zoo. Lions ain't trying to get free no more. If you treat your
after how many
slave good,
generations? After
if
how
you
many generations though? The ones that first bring over, shit's a whole different thing. They have to breed some of them in captivity.
right, that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
even when they do that, like I'm saying, like the first one that came over, and then they was going through the brutality, but all through slavery there was rebellions, often because of the brutality.
Mm,
So I'm just saying, if they would have just been nicer, a lot of people would have been like, it ain't all that bad. Like, yeah, we working. Like, if they wouldn't have worked them from sun up to sundown, like they would have just made it like, okay, it's only 8 hours, and gave them some decent food and made just some decent
I don't
living.
know, man. I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
that's
I
bro.
think we
That's
trivializing
what's
it, man.
that's what's happening right now.
I mean, I think that you're belittling a domestication process. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just giving them nice shelter and some motherfucking food. I mean, there was a whole process that took place to get
Right, initially, that's what I'm saying.
initial okay, to get these brothers and sisters at this point where
Right, and how do
where
you keep them at that point where?
yeah, you keep them with a steady diet of bullshit. You keep feeding them a steady diet of bullshit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So once you break them, even when you break somebody, right? If you
Mhm,
brutalize them, they're gonna eventually rebel. That's what I'm saying. So when you look at the today, that's what's happened to us. Like,
mhm.
we're not hanging from trees like we used to. The hoses ain't going off like, we got brothers that get shot down here and there, whatever. But now you can get a job, you can get a 401k, get a dental plan, get get some food stamps, get Section 8. And so that's all I'm saying. That's what's happening. And then you have people, not only that of go beyond that. We got billionaires and millionaires and entertainers, and so
Mhm.
all of that is why people can't see the mission,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Oprah Winfrey exists, because somebody has a business that, you know some people got businesses where they make 6 figures.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not denying that. That's why I said that we have to have a place where the fights are gonna jump off. Because here's why I don't think that it's good to be reactionary, especially like you said, seeing us hang from trees. Be first after factoring in the domestication process that we've docile as fuck. We're docile as fuck. That is, our women are hollering about how weak we are. If that isn't a wake up call to a motherfucker, I don't know what is. When your women start hollering about where the fuck y'all at, it's a wake up call. Secondly, um, if uh after factoring that in, a place where this jumps off, if we wait to be reactionary, they're gonna not only have are they making it illegal to re-implement Jim Crow, they have they begin to build up the military presence. This is one of the things of defunding the police. What they were screaming about was in the package of defunding the police was demilitarizing the police. The police have become, in fact, I think it speaks about in their constitution that the police shouldn't be a militarized force, but the police have become militarized. So defunding the police was like, okay, you're spending all these extra dollars in this when it can go into schools, especially inner city schools and private schools that don't have computer labs, that don't have proper science labs. I mean, just funding arts and culture. Shit is cut because lack of funding, but you getting these motherfuckers bazookas and tanks to roll up in the niggas' front yard to serve a goddamn FTA, failure to appear. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, they coming to get you. So I said, so in addition to that, when you look at how most cities are built, where large populations of us are, they have what's called perimeters. And those perimeters are set up so they can roll in these very militarized police that a lot of groups were trying to defund to stop entrance or what exoduses. If we wait to try to leave up out this motherfucker, they're not going to allow us to leave because, like you said, it is a capitalist industry. They're gonna, if they just get to the point where they ain't gonna pay you for that labor, but that labor must persist. This is why they do the, like you said, the divide and conquer. They put some niggas in there to give us a steady diet of bullshit. They give us trinkets to keep us entertained. And those of us that possess a rebellious spirit, those of us that say fuck the law, those of us, like George Jackson said, the revolutionary must eventually come to grips with being an outlaw. Because at some point in time, you're going to bump heads with the system, with the state. Those of us that have that outlaw spirit, they criminalize and put us in a cage and then slap felony on us to what I showed earlier, the felony disfranchisement to keep you in a certain working class. You can't get this type of job. You can't get that type of job. So they keep you regulated at 100,000, 80,000, 60, $50,000 a year. And you a grown motherfucker trying to have a family. So you got two options: work 4 or 5 jobs, or pick that pistol up and go out there and do a criminal lifestyle. So I'm saying for now, we ain't got to play with all that. These motherfuckers have declared an open war. We can support Jackson, Mississippi. We can build a united front for all my militants out there that's about this life. We can set up a distribution hub. We got truck drivers. We got motherfuckers coming in and out. We can secure us a supply line, start running route, and begin to set up a provisional motherfucking government amongst assistant aides to them until we start making these moves. Till we bring you in, Lex, then we gonna see your miracles. Shit, we'll give you the stage. Let's see what you can do, Black man.
The the genius of Elijah Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
And I believe Elijah Muhammad only used Islam as a tool, but the prescription of his genius was breaking the attraction to the Wazungu.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And at that time, saying something like and declaring the white man as the devil is shock treatment. You know, because everything we say and think is still not wanting to get away from these people. Elijah Muhammad was a Libra like me. That's why he was a great organizer. But um,
Shouts out to them Libras.
you know what I mean? So that's what I hear a lot when I hear a lot of us talk. It's still that attraction. It's still, and I think it's deep. I think it's subconscious. Some people actually, like I said, I heard I think I was on I was watching Black Sun and them, and somebody actually wrote in the chat when we was talking about Black Land. They actually wrote in the chat, "I'm a black woman, and I don't even want to be around all black women." And so we have a deep subconscious issue, brother. And everything that we come up with is subconsciously still trying to stay connected to these people. And that's why I believe Elijah Muhammad's prescription was so effective in how he gathered people. And, we may have to get back to some of that in terms of, because I know there's so-called good people in every race, you know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
that consciousness that he brought was to break that attraction. This
Yeah.
is the devil. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That,
Yeah.
and once people hear that, you don't want to do nothing with the devil. You know what I'm saying? You like the devil, Satan. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, nigga, I don't want to cut no deals. I don't want to get along. I just want to get away.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
just think, you know, um, everything. that you do and manifest begins in the subconscious.
Mhm.
And it's a part of us that we don't talk a lot about. And I always try to bring it to the front. I don't think a lot of people really understand how deep the subconscious goes. But what you think you are on the surface, your subconscious is automatic.
Right.
It's what's really moving you. It's what you truly are. It's what's
Mhm.
making you uh, you know, move to action. It's why certain people say I want to stop doing something and they can't. It's
Mhm.
just so much of a repeated habit and a program in the back of their mind. And there's a lot of things in the subconscious that we're not even aware of. So you got to dig into the subconscious.
Mhm.
Now, esoterically, a lot of time in religion, that's actually what they call hell, the land of Amenta, the
Mhm.
abyss.
Mhm.
You have to go there and dig all that, stuff out and then replace it with good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
what I say that to say is what you're talking about, the practical steps and actions, and why it's not being done is because we are programmed already subconsciously. So no matter what we say and what we intend, the deeper part of ourselves are not moving us to action. So,
Mhm.
in order to change that, we have to dig into the subconscious. And that's
I,
what the greats did. And that's what I'm saying. So right
mhm.
now in our subconscious, like even me and you, we be saying we love blackness and all this. White Jesus is in there, bro. It's in your
Mhm.
subconscious.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
probably we can talk all that. I love blackness and that. But when someone says God, that that picture is probably still deep in our subconscious. Like if
Mhm.
I could put your mind on a movie screen and
Mhm.
and just say words like
Right.
God, and because you know that the subconscious only sees images.
Mhm.
And if I could put our subconscious on a big screen and just say words and see the images that came up from those words, even me maybe somebody could say God and the picture of white Jesus will show up on the screen.
Absolutely.
You see?
Probably because we've been. But here's the fascinating thing. If you took our seed, what if you hooked my son Amaru up to it and said God? Because of that, you're right. That subconscious has been so bombarded with trash that we must. I agree with you. Like you said in Islam, it's called the nafsamara, the lower self, that ego. And one way that we try to keep that in check, practice of annihilation of that ego, is bombarded consciously with righteousness because we know it exists. You know what I'm saying? So we have to bombard it with righteousness. Even if we battle with it, what it will do for future generations, when you surround yourself with ancestors, you surround yourself with righteousness, you surround yourself with the image of a black God, a God that is empowering and specific for your people. Even though you battle with that daily, your child, when they hook him up to that machine, is gonna see that black whatever. Boop, boop. They're gonna be like,
Right.
damn, what household you grew up in? So I think we still have to do shit for posterity's sake. You know.
Right. So that's why a lot of the things when we say power to the dark side,
Hmm.
because man, darkness is so bad. Black people don't know how bad it is in their mind.
Mm,
The dark, what is dark is, think about this, for generations and generations, even in religion and language, because of, like, even in the Quran, Allah is light upon light.
hmm.
Jesus brings the light. God is light. The law is light. You know what I'm saying? Purity is white.
Hmm.
And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but like, so I know that black people are turned off by just hearing dark side, whether they know it or not.
Hmm.
And it's a representative of their subconscious self hate.
Mm-hmm.
because the terms dark and light has been used when light is actually a byproduct of the darkness, and the light is what if is actually what blinds you.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up in the morning to a bright ass light. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so, man, it's just a deep thing, man. Why, in terms of why what we want to see isn't happening is the war. Yeah, there's gonna be the practical things, but what I'm saying is, um, the enemy is fighting a subconscious war.
Mm-hmm.
That's their biggest war. Yeah, they'll put you down and put you in fear and hurt you, and do all to instill fear in you and all. But their constant working is that spiritual, and what people call spiritual war is a psychological war. I think
Mm-hmm.
spirit and psychology are almost synonymous. So our biggest fight is working and pulling the trash out of our people's subconscious mind. It's just like if I hypnotize you and put you under hypnosis, just like a hypnotist, and I say I can just implant something in you, you know, and when you wake up, you're not even aware, and you wonder, damn, I couldn't dunk before. Now I'm fucking jumping 2 feet higher,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seemed natural. And that's what I mean by our actions. What the stuff we're talking about doing, bro, like black people need to do this and that is what natural, healthy people do. We
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have to go through all of this. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
That's just,
Right.
if we were healthy, like this is like the
I,
stuff that's just what men do.
yeah.
Healthy men, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
I
not
think you
like
said
some
it.
complex, stuff. This is what a healthy people would do. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
I think you hit it on the head when you said natural. I think we are so unnatural. We've normalized unnatural behavior so much that we really think what we're doing is natural. And so like it's funny to a lot of them, like man, you hit the nail on the head with that one, Lex. When we talk about stuff like that, that it's strange to them, and we're like, no, this is what men do. This is what a natural people do. And they're like, nah, it's kind of weird. So I agree with that. Here's one of the things too. I'm in total agreement with what you're saying, and especially about spirituality. But I'm one of them. You mentioned in one of your lives one time about Makandao. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Makandao. I'm a bookman. I'm one of them who warriors. I believe in putting these spirits to test. You know what I'm saying? I do, I recognize the primordial man, Ogu in voodoo. I prefer more in the Loa energy of Ogu. So I recognize Ogu. We do what we do. We know what we do, and everything we do don't need to be said. However, I want to see these powers, Ogu over metal, warfare, guns, bullets, if need be. Also in the Haitian tradition, Ogu is over diplomacy and strategies and this nature. So it's time now we test these spirits. And here we have an opportunity, the same with, Allah Tabaraka Ta'ala, blessed and exalted is Allah, the Most High. Jesus the Christ, whom said at one point in time, I believe he gave one of the disciples, one of his telemes, one of his disciples a sword, if I'm not mistaken. There comes a time I heard that dude, Black Jesus Minister. Shouts out to that guy. I don't really know much about him. Y'all don't beat me up. I don't know the sides, but he broke something down. He said he's an ecclesiastic Christian. I had never
Ecclesiastes
heard. Yeah,
breathe.
I had never heard of it. He said, and I wish I had remembered that scripture. He said, "There's a time for this and there's a time for that." There's a time because another Christian told him, "Man, why are you getting upset? Why won't you calm down?" He said, "Hey, brother, bless you, brother. But I'm an ecclesiastic preacher. There's a time for this, there's a time for that, there's a time to weep, there's a time to laugh, there's a time for war, and there's a time for peace." I mean, he just ran down it. So that type of thing, there's a time to put these spirits to test. And if at
Yeah,
no
Black
other
Jesus.
time,
Problem with him is he's fighting for Jesus,
okay,
not.
yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check them out. I was
Yeah,
just saying
that's
in
my
the,
friend. I
yeah,
got
okay,
I call Black Jesus right now, but And he's mad at me right now because I clown
Probably, man.
problem.
Probably, man. Somebody stay mad at your ass, bro. I don't keep it
but
real
he's a but
nephew,
he's a
boy.
clown, and that's why I fight so hard against. I don't think people really understand how deep. That's why, like, he's a soldier, and I think he loves his people. But his whole thing, all that energy, and this is what I mean. Even though I believe, he tries to say Christianity is African, and but he's fighting for that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the
Mm-hmm.
problem with the
Mm-hmm.
Abrahamic faith. He's
Mm-hmm.
fighting to bring people to Jesus, the African Jesus.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
I'd
saying?
like to get, yeah, I like to get, listen, shouts out to Black Mr. G. If you're out there in the air, you said you know him, man, have him come to my show. I like to hear I'd like to hear from his mouth. If you know him here, man, I'd like to hear from him.
I'll hook. I'm gonna call him and
Yeah,
hook
yeah, yeah,
y'all up.
yeah.
You can
Because that's interesting. Because I do, now down here when I came to Atlanta was doing party work. That's the thing about doing party work. That we was shouts out to my own party members down here, man. That's why I say that's where I know Unc from and Nandi and shit, even Son and shit like that. But now I worked with the Shrine of the Black Madonna, which is a Black Christian nationalist organization. So they report as per their charter. That's what they say that they are. And so, you know, uh, I'm curious to hear their take on the journey and the plight of Black African people here in America. But you said you
their
bringing up something.
journey, their answer is Jesus. That's the problem.
Mm,
That's what the problem
mm,
with any
yeah,
of these religions, and that's why I say, man, let's just
yeah,
get back to being heathens. See,
yeah,
what I'm saying is we
yeah.
got to close the doors on. You know what I'm saying? That, like, when you in a situation, you got to tighten up security on the mind where it's like, yo, there's no room for none of that. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm,
saying? It's just like,
mm-hmm.
even like my sister Aaliyah. I love her. I know she loves Elijah Muhammad, but that's why I think he used Islam as a tool. We gotta let it. We gotta move on though. We gotta evolve. We gotta build off what Elijah built off. You know what I say. Imagine if the Nation of Islam just brought like the teachings that he brought without any of the religious connotations. I don't think it would have ever failed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If it was just the mathematics, the white man's the devil, the black man is God, the science, you know what I'm saying? The theology without the religious connotation,
You
without
know,
the Quran,
mm-hmm. I
I think
think
it
what
would have been much stronger.
you know what, and that might be so. I think one of the things that made it real strong coming up, uh, and when I was coming up, was a lot of their social programs. Believe it or not, you know what I'm saying.
And
Black
a
Adam,
lot of Christians didn't join the nation because they were Christians.
yeah, yeah.
You
But I
see,
mean, the nation was grabbing the brothers. The nation was going in the gutters and getting the brothers. They was cleaning the black men. They was pulling them, putting them in suits, instilling real like black pride in what became Hugh would later call take from Franz Fanon, the lumpen proletarian or the lumpen, the lower class, the throwaway, the undesirables. You know what I'm saying? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was transforming those type of people whom society had just completely turned their back on. I think that's why a lot of them would say the life-saving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Those listen, and you ask me, you can't. It's very hard to get away from communalism and actual uh, social. I'll say cultural, but main social interactions, cultural just assisting, inspiring, and motivating the social interactions. I can
yeah.
agree with what you're saying. Like,
We would have
we,
had the nation if the Nation of Islam without the Islam,
mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm.
because
What would you be
like
giving
even
it though?
today, so many people, like the program the nation had is beautiful, but so many people it's just like the Islam part.
Mm-hmm,
It's just everybody ain't gonna go for that. Like if it Like for instance, like by the way, I'm in the Book of Life in the Nation of Islam. You know when
Okay,
you
okay, yeah. You
uh
done rode off and got your. So you rode off and got your ex and shit. I heard you. I
no,
heard.
I didn't get the X. I didn't actually go through with the whole. I went through, I went there, and when you go to the mosque, they say if you heard this truth, if you believe this truth, stand up, and if you want to, be a part. I did all of that, and
Okay.
I signed my name in the Book of Life, but I didn't go much further. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh
I
yeah.
was close. I never really put on the bow tie and sold my newspapers and nothing like that. But I did sign myself in the Book of Life in the Nation of Islam when I was younger. But um, I just think that it should have been the nation of gods and earths right from the beginning without the Islam. You know what I'm saying? Like, and today I think
But there would be no
Elijah
nation.
Muhammad's teachings without Islam, without calling it Islam, without a holy book, without what I'm saying, it isolates some people. You know what I mean? Like I always talk about Ali Muhammad. That brother is one of the most brilliant brothers, but his message gets lost because he's some people hear the Islam and it's just like he's teaching science and all type of stuff, government, health, but then he comes with the Islam, and it's just like, why not just stick to the science today? You know what I'm saying? The spiritual science without the branding, without the name. And I think it cuts a lot of people off today. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. You know what I
No,
mean?
I can agree with. I think in this name we have evolved enough that we can teach, a general science, a general spiritual science. You know what I'm saying? And allow people to have their personal, intimate relationship and their personal expression of God to themselves. But I do believe and belong to a spiritual house that, we speak a spiritual general, a science of spirit that, and it's incorporates a lot of the ATR various. It's a hoodoo house, basically. Anyway, I said all that to say that when we go back, but I think things have to be looked at in context. Like now, it's a lot easier to say, had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, may God's peace be upon Elijah Muhammad, had he done such and such and thus and thus. I think that when we look in context, first of all, to looking from where he came from, the influence of Islam through Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science Temple, uh, and his version of black nationalism through that, it being very radical in opposition to what was largely the religion of black people, Christianity. I think like he did what you're doing. He did shock value.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. Like
yeah.
it
And
was
and there,
genius.
there and there would be no God's earth. I'm gonna spark up some controversy because I know the gods and the earths are out there. Peace to the gods and earths, but there would be no gods and earths without the nation Islam.
Of course. I mean, they work off the lessons. Like
Right.
they're
Well,
funny.
you got that debate. You got some of them say, well, we are not, we not 5% nation Islam, we not Muslims. But one of the lessons
They say
is
that
that,
they Muslim sons.
yeah,
What beings? I don't
yeah.
know.
And so they trying to, some of them even trying to come away farther from, so much so farther from that. I had an opportunity to, it wasn't a parliament, but just a little build. And it was almost like, I didn't almost, man, had it not been for the supreme mathematics and the jewels, I wouldn't have known what they were talking about. I mean, it is very different. But anyway, I get where you're coming from.
Right. It's just like today, right, in evolution. And I always talk about, mathematics, and that's what Elijah Muhammad taught, right? Because at the end of the day, even in the lessons, Islam meant I sincerely love Allah's mathematics. So he was teaching mathematics. And that's why I say he just used Islam. But today, let's just teach the mathematics. And when we look at the position of our people, why I say drop all the stuff is because in mathematics, when you have an improper fraction, you have to find the common denominator. And
Mhm.
so, and we are in a serious situation And it's like, let's just get rid of all the things. And I don't know. I think people are scared to start over too. Like, just get rid of all the like. And I always tell the simple example: if everyone has on different color shirts and we're arguing over what color, right? Let's
Uh-huh.
just take our shirts off.
Right. That goes
Let's
into
just
that
get rid of the
individualism.
shirts.
Well, that goes into that spirit of individualism you was talking about. I've always said nobody wants to be the nigga. Nobody wants to be black. You know what I'm saying? So if that different color shirt makes you stand out a little bit more, makes you different from him, man, we will fight to the death about that raggedy ass shirt.
Yeah, all these different groups and organizations are all different color T-shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I promote getting rid of it all. But see, that's where that individualism comes in. That's where the Black Sun agents come in, because it's like, and that's why I played the Amos Wilson joint. I wish I could play that right now for you. Like, it's like, yo, there is no such thing as individualism in the world, because the way Amos Wilson put it, individualism only exists still in the context of a community. Because if I took everybody off of the earth and left you by yourself, what would individualism mean? Nothing. So it still only means something in the context of a group. You see what I'm saying? But in the in the end, at the end of the day, um, people who call themselves individuals, they eat at the same restaurants everyone does. They buy in Nikes like everyone else. It's an illusion.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So why not just get rid of all the divisions and start ground bottom, and now we can move. That's why we say the Tower of Babel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Why not just say, you know what? Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and I'll even go say, voodoo, whatever. Let's just stomp it all out.
Yeah.
Like that is what, and that's when we will see God, because God is unity.
Some people
What
would call that socialist though.
I tell people that if you
Lex.
want to see God, when you unite, that's when you'll see. Like, people always like, for instance, if there's a Christian, Muslim, Jew, and Ifa practitioner, right, and they're all arguing over, which, maybe right, or maybe what's the name of God, or how we should live. God is sitting there going, okay. hmm Now, when they all decide to drop all of their stuff, that's when God's gonna step in the room and be like, I was just waiting for y'all to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the divinity. To be able to do that for the purpose of unity is the divinity. That's when God will show up. When you drop all the stuff that's dividing you.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, that's, it's simple as that. Like, and
I
so the
mean,
enemy is gonna keep using. The enemy is gonna keep coming out with all types. Here's a new designer T-shirt.
yeah.
Here's another.
Yeah.
Which this one's made of cotton. This one's
Yeah.
made of silk. This one,
But
and
what is
as long as you keep wearing the shirts, you're gonna,
yeah.
you're gonna be able to. That door is gonna be open to divide you.
I agree. I agree. In conjunction with, I got to do my little ad to, in conjunction with addressing the system that promotes and not only encourages individualism, but pushes an absolute must that you be an individual, an absolute must that you don't fit in. See, my whole thing is not necessarily what you have on. And I agree with what you, especially if we're putting emphasis on that. But what are the conditions that make someone feel like, my everything is in this material? You know what I'm saying? I'm better than you because I possess this thing right here. I think that has to be addressed because that goes into man's need for supremacy. Like you said, if you have the voodoo, the Haitian voodoo, I don't care if they just all African traditional religions, the need for supremacy, if that steps in, it's going to rule everything. if they don't realize that all of these are just systems, they're forms of expression to the Most High to reach a level of divinity, to be able to exercise these principles, to have these very real reminders of principles we should enact in the flesh, and also energies in the unseen that can be activated, that can be utilized and called upon, then they're missing the whole point. But that starts with annihilation of the ego. You,
Right.
you know, so I agree
And the
with you.
ego, that is the
It's fed
individual.
by that material. Yeah, it's individualism and fed by material consumption.
Right. So
Yep.
if
But
if
that's what
if
they hit black folks with, and that's why we consumer capitalists. You know.
right, if we wanna prove who's divine, let's have a contest in, who can treat each other in the best way
Hmm.
without none of that. You know what I'm saying? Truly impress the divine. But I
Hmm.
want to ask you, this is what I'm saying about getting back, and I'm only saying this because this is supposed to be Ank's show.
Right.
But he didn't have nothing to say anyway about what was being said.
I
He did.
changed the time on him. I did. I
Okay.
changed the time. I
But
tried to notify him, but you know,
this is what I mean by the distractions. How can we practically implement evolution?
how can we
Like
practically implement
how
evolution?
can you practice like they you know what I'm saying, like Ankh and them, and they're always promoting science, but they're not doing any science.
Hmm.
It's this emphasis on evolution and the theory of evolution. Okay, if all black people accept the theory of evolution, and okay, what can you do with that? And this is what I mean by the deceptions. Like, if y'all are scientifically literate, then you should be on YouTube showing people how to build microchips, how to fix cars, how to build houses. You talking science, 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 but your science is based in people accepting that there's no God and that, we evolved from whatever. How is that anything? Even if it's true, but there hasn't been one show on how to repair a goddamn toilet. But you tell them we got to become scientifically literate. Now,
I mean,
in the way you think is always practical. I can't. We can't. We never gonna turn no apes into humans. You see what I'm saying? Like,
mm,
how is that helping our social political situation, bro?
right.
Why are
I
you
got
pumping that to our people? Like, that's ridiculous, bro.
I don't want to speak for him. I wish, like I said, I changed the time on him. I think he had addressed that. I have to go back in the show. I don't know if he said it was a passage he had read, and I forget what book, man. Damn, forgive me. I ain't up on my shit right now. I don't have my certain notepad with me. But he was making reference to Darwin saying that it was a species alongside of our evolution or something, that he was making a comparison. It wasn't actually talking about the evolution of man, so to speak. I listen, I could be slaughtering it. Don't listen. That's why I said don't quote me. Don't quote me. Go back
Yeah,
and
yeah,
check the we
no,
have to go back and check the
but
show.
at the end of the day, like, it's not practical. Like the theory of
Mhm.
evolution. I mean, we can accept the fact that things evolve,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
but if you're talking about science, then teach the people some science.
Well, my thing is, and shouts out to the Amon Rock Squad, pseudo killer, Ankh, my man, is me being a spiritualist, I believe that science is inspired. Like he talked about flying, he talked about how we, got the technology, or we begin to do the math on aeronautics and things of nature. But I believe all of that started with the inspiration of the desire to fly, believing in the capability. You know what I'm saying? That came from somewhere. That's where it
Imagination.
right, right. So that's what I believe. I believe that and too many of us, due to, just like you said, taking on these foreign ways, have silenced that voice in us. We don't even call it that inner voice of God. You know what we say? Something. We call it something. You ever been in that situation? You do other than what that inner voice said, and then you say something told me not to ride with y'all niggas, or something told me not to do this. That something was
Right,
in you. But
right.
we've dumbed it down so much that not only is it just a whisper, we don't even acknowledge what it is. We call it a something.
And then
So,
it tricky with words because even when he says science is counterintuitive, no, he means counterlogical, not into counterintuitive. Because intuitive is something different. So, in like the example he gave, that was logic. Like if you see this, then you can pretty much. It seems like this, but no, intuitive is actually what leads you to realize that it was illogical, like that your logic misled you. You see what I'm saying? Like,
hmm,
so say like you go somewhere every day, and so you realize that you see a pattern, and so it's logical that you think that pattern is going to happen every day, but it doesn't happen one day. So we could say, well, that was counterintuitive, like what I'm saying. But no, that means that the logic cannot be applied to that situation because something changed or something was different. But it's the intuition when that happens that says that you get the idea about why that happened, and then you run the experiment. It's the intuition that led you, that you know what I'm trying to say, that's saying I want to figure this out, or I have an idea of why this happened now. So it's even the intuition that's leading you to bigger discovery, because even to say intuition says there's something more to that, and I want to
well,
find, that's intuition and imagination that even
yeah,
leads to the scientific discovery, bro.
right.
That's what I'm telling you,
I
like,
I would
bro.
agree with that. I think his point was, damn, like I said, I don't. It's hard. First of all, it's hard for me to argue his point because only Unc can articulate it in Unc fashion. And then secondly, I'm biased. I'm gonna say that I'm biased, but I think that his point was to the effect that intuitiveness will prevent you from exploration in certain areas, like
That's what,
if you
yeah, he's
yeah.
using the wrong word, but yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, that's why he said science is counterintuitive. You have to fight that natural urge to like fight or
Believe
flight.
what your
Yeah,
eyes are telling you.
yeah, yeah.
That's not
And
intuitive though. That's what I'm saying. Like this is what I'm saying about the devil, man. Like, not Ankh to be, but like, that's not intuitive. That's what I'm saying. That's putting intuition in the wrong context, because um that's logical. That means that's looking at the surface. The intuition is what makes you go below the surface, because
mm,
something tells you that doesn't, even though it seems like that, something inside says that's something not right about that. Just like when you're in a situation, and somebody tells you something that seems logical, but something inside you tells you that they're lying. And so now you go investigate and ask more questions. That's the scientific process.
mm,
You see what I'm saying? Like,
mm,
like you say, why do things fall to the ground?
mm,
Now, at some point, you can just accept that. Somebody said, well, why does it fall to the, something intuitive said, there's something else to this. Or they would have never even explored it. They just would have accepted it. Well, things fall down because they fall down. That's the way it is. Or maybe because it's heavy and whatever. So intuitive made us discover it was the intuitive nature that made us discover the force of gravity.
Mm.
It was the curiosity. It's the questions that come about that make you, and that is the divinity that makes you want to go deeper. You see what I'm saying? Just like there's some people that, like I think the Egyptians were the first people to open the body.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd they do it? I want to see what's really going on up in there. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
even Nikola Tesla said the key to his was one of the greatest, scientists when it comes to energy. The stuff we got today, some of it still goes back to Nikola Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
And he said his imagination was the most important thing. And matter of fact, his inventions, he said that before he put them together, that he would either dream or imagine. He didn't even know how it was going to do. His imagination led him to being able to figure out how to build this or whatever. He envisioned it first. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's what I'm saying. Everything the man is saying, when you go to the people who are actually were practical doing stuff like Nikola Tesla, they say the opposite. You see what I'm saying? Just like
Mm-hmm.
George Washington Carver, he says the opposite of what Ankh is saying, and he has the products to prove it. Ankh
It's
is
go-
wrong.
it's definitely gonna be interesting when he comes up, man. And like I said,
He
I
say George Washington Carver was pseudo because he said when people asked him, "How did you figure this out?" and he said, "The plants taught me."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, Ankh will call him pseudo, but he didn't create over 300 things out of peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So who are we listening to?
We're gonna, man, like I said, it's gonna be interesting. We leaving the, again, man, to the Amon Ra Squad pseudo killers. I can catch outs out. Definitely platform always open for them. I want to hear, and I'm gonna eat this one. I am definitely gonna eat this one. I pushed back the time on them. I had an important engagement. I couldn't get out of it. So I had to push the time back to 9. It may have thrown my man's schedule. So I definitely will eat that one. Uncle Cat, if you out there, floor is always open to come and respond to it. Interesting points,
Right.
especially
Come
about
on,
the
brother. You
yeah,
know it's right.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
that
yeah.
innate voice in us. That is the genius in us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're a kid, why do you know what I'm saying, start I remember I used to, how anyone used to catch a bunch of grasshoppers and put them in a
Mm-hmm,
bottle, or you go out exploring. What is that? That's intuition. That's the
mm-hmm,
creativity. That's the curiosity of science. When
mm-hmm,
you're looking at something, like you look at a lightning bug, and that's like for a kid, that's like, ooh, oh my God. Like, and then it's the other part that says, well, how is that, what I'm saying, happening? How is that? Because it just seems magical. I want to know why. Why am I not able to light up like that?
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you go explore. That's into, man. Like, to me, this is childish to me, bro. That's like people say I'm
Yeah,
arrogant, but I'm like, bro, that's child. That's remedial to me.
yeah,
Like, it's not
yeah,
even it's not even a conversation. It's like, bro, you're
yeah,
childish.
yeah. We get it.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. We gonna give. Yeah, we gonna give him. We gonna definitely give him an opportunity to respond to that. Like I said,
I
some
need
real
to sit
interesting
down and
points.
come to Lex's
I
class and
wouldn't.
relearn from a real
Yeah,
priest, man. That's what it
yeah,
really is. The
yeah,
brothers following white boys.
yeah.
That's some white
I
boy
would.
shit, man.
I wouldn't be
That,
able to do him justice. I wouldn't be
all
able
that
to do him justice.
atheists, bro, that's what I'm talking about, how much we want to be like the Wazungu. And for anyone listening, go listen to Amos Wilson's um
Mm-hmm.
who controls the information. And he was even talking, Amos Wilson was even talking about all that scholarship stuff, like, where are your references? And he was like, yo, let's really be real about it. The your enemy is not gonna. You cannot rely on your enemy to give you proper information and to define what
Yeah.
information is and what words mean.
Yeah. That's real.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
did like Unc and them, they are basically acquiescing to European knowledge, like saying like their methods and what they decide is truth and how to arrive at like, bro, you on some white boy shit, some atheist white boy shit. And
So
and you ever talk to one of them atheist white boys, they always talk demeaning. Like like what you're saying. I remember one time, one show, um, Garfield had one of them European scholars on the show talking about Jesus or whatever. And someone said something about Jesus coming from Serapis, right? And the white boy goes, "Where are they getting this shit from?" And then and it was like everyone act like he's like it was like some moment of truth, as if because he said that. Nigga, we know exactly what Dr. Walter Williams broke down that
hmm
whole Serapis connection and all that.
hmm
You see what I'm
y'all
saying?
yeah,
So
y'all
it's
fuck
like,
all that was y'all fucked him up.
yeah.
Y'all hit him with some sources he didn't know about.
So it's like,
He was
bro, them dudes
baffled.
is white boys. The Armor
Yeah.
Raw Squad is a bunch of white boys, bro. Atheism, come on, bro.
Yeah. He do
Atheism,
his thing, man. Let me
evolution.
yeah, he do his he do his thing. He do his thing. I almost feel bad for that he didn't. He missed
Well,
out
he
on
didn't
this
show up, so we don't have to
opportunity.
get this work without being here.
Yeah.
I'm filling in. Bro, that's some white boy shit. And not
Yeah.
because it's smart. See, they're trying to make it reverse it. Like we're denying the ultimate No, nigga, that's dumb white boy shit.
Yeah.
Atheism is dumb white boy shit.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna be
Like,
honest.
that's
I
some dumb
don't get
white.
it. I don't get it. But like I said, man, being that's my dude, I almost feel uncomfortable.
I
You know what I'm
know.
saying?
And
Yeah,
remember the
yeah,
views and whatever of Lex Vortex, not Yanga. But
yeah,
I get it, bro. You know, he know. I mean, y'all cool. So, but
yeah.
that and that's just not just for him, but all of them on that atheist ever like it's some dumb white boy shit. Like, nigga, them niggas is stupid, bro. That's because you following someone you think is intelligent because they're in a position of power now, and so it comes back to another subconscious superiority that the white boy evolution, just scientific mind is
So you
that's
don't
the
think it's no
intelligent
validity?
way to
So you
be.
don't think it's no validity to what he's saying?
Yes, there is some validity in terms of, yeah, we should definitely be interested in science, but we're gonna practice and define things in our way
Mm.
according to our culture. Like you like atheism is stupid. That's not, to me, that's not scientific. Like that's what I'm saying. See what I'm
What?
saying? Like
Yeah.
that's stupid to us. What's
I mean,
scientific about atheism? That
yeah.
there is nothing, like there is no intelligence in it. That's stupid. You already done started off wrong. Like,
Right. I mean,
because we know intuitively that there
I can feel
is
that.
a power behind things.
Yeah. Yeah. I can feel that. I can feel that.
Like
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
stupid.
But you know how my man explains, like, one of the things that and how I've always been able to deal with Unc and Black Sunday Atheists, because we never really have had these discussions in depth like you and I are having them now. I always, yeah, they're funny discussions. Anyway, one of the things that Unc has explained to me, though, that, or now I'm not going to say explain to me, I overheard on the Lions Den, actually, that, if God, if the universe is all knowing, then the universe doesn't need science. Science is to prove shit to man.
Right. But see, that's what I'm saying. He's arguing against religious people. that are following religious doctrine. See, one
Hmm.
thing atheists get confused, and this is part of religion's problem. They do such a bad job of describing what God is that it would turn anybody off. They turn people into atheists because they tell people God ordained wars. And that's what I mean by the Abrahamic faith.
Yeah,
God ordered the Israelites to wipe out the Canaanites. God ordered the Muslims to kill the cap.
but I
God ain't
mean,
had nothing to do
I
with none of that. Has nothing to do with the intelligence in the universe. That's some people's social political aspect of God that they're justifying what they're about to do to someone else, and
yeah.
so they put God's name on it. But that doesn't negate the intelligence that we can clearly see in the universe.
Hmm.
Now,
I
what that is and exactly what it is and what it said and all that, that's getting into a very sticky area because, there's some people who believe God told them to wipe out the Canaanites.
hmm
And
hmm
that's why I say, when I tell people they got false gods in their religions, and to me, God is with me because I'm telling people that they're running a slander campaign on the divine.
I
The
mean,
divine, the divine never ordained a war.
really? I mean, but isn't that the whole concept of the universe? God, isn't that the concept of the great I am? That I am war. If your God is a God of war, am I right to say that your God isn't? And especially if your God has reigned victorious, if your God has manifested the spoil that your God has promised you, who am I to tell you that that God is
That's
non-existent?
not
I'm only fooling
that's
myself at this time.
not the universal intelligence. That's what I'm saying. That's in somebody's social political
I mean,
worldview point where
what
they
is the universal intelligence but just but just a energy with all the information, all things in it. You know what I'm saying? Those of us that are righteous choose to pull out righteousness, life, knowledge, higher understanding. But universal intelligence also contains strategies, war, and
no.
all of that shit. No, it
Well,
doesn't.
that's what mankind
Oh.
Nah, the universal intelligence is pure love.
No, see, I don't know. I don't know. See, that's where we would. That's why I would say
I know,
I'd probably
and
be following you, eating
that's
you, watching
because
you feed the loaves until you said that right there. And I mean,
I know, and that's because you've been given a false deity,
no,
with all due
yeah,
respect, bro, in Islam,
quite
because
possibly.
if you believe, that's what I'm saying. People, it doesn't make any sense. The universal intelligence cannot be a man of war because nothing
I don't
can
believe
war
it's a
against
man.
nothing can. That's just, come on, bro. You know better
Yeah.
than
Oh,
that.
okay. I know what you're saying. Man, manifest. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it.
Whatever you want to call it, I'm talking
Yeah,
about when certain people say, like in the Bible, it says the Lord is a man of war.
I get it. I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Semantics.
bullshit. That's man, because nothing can war against universal intelligence. They don't even make no sense. There's no
Yeah, it's
opposition. There's no opposition to
ex-
like
I,
you
I,
know. There's this.
absolutely. But
That's stupid.
I absolutely. So when you go into war, should you go into war and conflict that men face, who do you take into battle with you? I don't think universal intelligence. Here, why I don't think
You
universal
taking the
intelligence.
devil. Both of
I'm
y'all are
not. I don't.
operating from the
I.
depth. From
I just.
this
I
is
don't
what I'm
believe.
saying.
But here's
You're
this. Let me say this. It's
disconnected
hard.
from universe.
It's no. I think you're more connected to Abrahamic faith at this point than I am. I don't believe in that concept of the devil like that. I hold to
No,
the
I'm not
ATR
saying
tradition.
devil. I'm saying that you're just out
Unit
of alignment with universal intelligence.
the universal intelligence is just that intelligence in my understanding. Let me give you my prophecy. Everybody's a chosen one amongst their in their own house. So universal intelligence is just that. God is just that. God is what God is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? God is that universal intelligence. So whatever aspect you're drawing on, whatever you want from that, you're gonna pull from that because all of this is an illusion.
Now
Everything is
you're
God.
opening the door for war. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying, man.
it's
Like,
there's gonna be conflict. I don't.
no,
There's a way
no,
around conflict. I don't think you can
that's
love
why
your
there is
enemy.
conflict. because of those false teachings to man.
It's no, you know why there's going to be conflict, and no disrespect, because there's going to be somebody that's going to come and try to tell me how to interpret God and how to observe God, and that's what causes the conflict in religion. So you must be only a fool would not prepare themselves for the day that opposition will come to threaten their freedom. And one of the
That's
freedoms
that
is
that's not coming from universal intelligence though.
it is why isn't that universal intelligence? Universal
The people
intelligence.
coming against you are not operating from universal intelligence, or they wouldn't be coming against you in
I,
opposition when neither one of y'all win. Universal
I
intelligence is harmony.
exact. I can agree with that, but how do you have to
Right.
keep a harmony, brother? So what are you going to when the people whom are not operating in universal intelligence rise against you? Your harmonious lifestyle, your peaceful way of life. Are you not to prepare yourself? Are you not to defend yourself or
Of
even
course,
fight
I'm
back?
not saying that, but the point I'm
So would
making,
God be with you then? If you fought back against those people, would you be fighting back? And would that be devil energy then?
no, I'm
Oh,
saying
God
that
would be with you.
no, God is not neither with neither one of y'all.
No, I'm saying if the people, if unrighteous people, people whom didn't adhere to universal intelligence, rose against the people that did. We over here doing our thing, you know what I'm saying? And they rose against us to take from us. Because that's, there are
All
people
right,
who
now
don't.
you're getting into self-defense and you're getting into,
Exactly.
well, hold
There
on, brother.
go.
Now you're getting into human politics.
But aren't we the reflection of God in a human world, Lex? That's what I'm
No,
telling you. So
not
you
if we're
can't
not
wish this shit
reflecting.
away.
What
You're
I'm
gonna
saying,
get the whole experience, brother.
when you're in alignment with universal intelligence, you are in alignment with love. Now, those that get out of alignment with universal intelligence, if they attack you, right, then you're defending yourself.
So
You know what I
God is
mean?
with you.
That's cool, but what I'm saying
Mm,
is universal intelligence is not orchestrating a war. When you look at how people in religions, for instance, when the Israelites they were the aggressors, and this is what I mean about the slander of God. The Canaanites was minding their business. God told them, according to them, God ain't told them nothing, to go attack the Canaanites to take the land. Now, why is this stupid? Because if universal intelligence, supreme power, wants to give you a land, why would it use war when it could just create a whole land or a whole goddamn another planet for you? So
because
so what people are saying is that universal intelligence, this is the message, solves its problem with violence. And that's stupid.
here's my whole belief in it. I believe that God is using you for a whole experience that only Lex can provide God. Universe, whatever we're calling that term. And since you live in this tangible world, those conflicts are very real conflicts. So that understanding of God, that version of God, that God that wanted to experience that victory in the agony and throngs of war, got just that. Apparently, their belief, their faith in that understanding of God, their version of a God, I don't deny that this white man
There's
has
no
a God.
version of God, bro.
I'm gonna
There's
tell
no
you,
version.
I don't believe right. I don't believe in
Version
so-called. I don't
the
believe in
item.
so-called. Yeah, I don't believe in the so-called version. I do believe in aspects. I do
Yeah,
believe in
what I'm saying,
aspects,
um, brother,
and I believe love is an aspect.
it's
I
like
believe.
saying, let me put it to you like this: God is like water. Like it the nature of the divine is love, meaning that if you look and observe the universe, you can see that it's harmony and balance. Now,
Mhm,
the human being is, yes, God is in us, but we have also a brain and other things that allow us, that's what some people like to sometimes call free will, to
mhm,
do other than what the divine force in us is telling us to do.
mhm.
But the divine force's nature doesn't change. There's no, the divine force didn't tell George Bush to attack Iraq. That's slander. And that's why there's atheists. And I wouldn't blame an atheist for being an atheist, because who would want to believe in an all powerful asshole?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they're slandering the divine. Whenever someone says the divine told, especially if you're not, now in your case, you have a better case. Like when you say, well, I'm doing my thing, I'm chilling, and someone that's out of alignment comes attack me. So of course I had to defend myself. We're talking about the animalistic, there's an animal nature there too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you protect yourself. But to say that God told me to go take that woman's purse, that's slander.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
slander. And that's
Absolutely.
what I'm saying. And that's people that don't, and that's what I mean by these archonic forces. That's really these philosophies and suggestions about God and these religions are coming from some out of man's imagination that's crazy. And that's why God is slandered. No one got good, if you look at nature, you see that it's harmonious. The sun and the moon are not warring against each other. The trees are not, what I'm saying, the trees, we have symbiotic, there's a symbiotic relationship throughout
Mm-hmm.
the whole universe in order, and it's man's own. I mean, even the Bible tells you that the Lord made everything perfect, but it's man's inventions and his imaginations that make things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we want to justify what we do. That's what I'm saying. That's the justify. If you go by kind of what you were saying, then we can't say nothing about what the European is doing. Well, God is having the experience of
I don't.
of being a
I,
tyrant on the
right.
earth.
I don't, to the extent of blaming. Like, I agree with Elijah Muhammad say. I don't say a kind of devil. They are the devil. I don't disagree with
So God
their their
is is
their experience.
orchestrating the European.
I
Uh,
think that they have tapped in. I think they have learned to steal a listening, to steal a hearing, that they've learned to tap into our magic to harness a universal
I'm
energy.
talking
That's
about the universal mind. What is his intentions?
oh, the universal, the
You're telling me,
universal.
it sounds like you're telling me that um, God wanted to experience being Hitler.
I think that that's a part of it. I think
Uh,
all of that's a no. Here it is. Here it is. I think that because I think all things are created. I think they're the devil, though. First of all, white people I think are the devil.
well, then
I
that's what I'm
don't
saying.
think. Hold on,
Now you,
but I think that they are. I think that they are like trees, like rocks, like pigs, like wild lions,
but
like
I'm not just
anything.
talking. Let's take the race out
Hold
of
on.
it now. 'Cause now
Okay,
we're
let's take
talking
the race.
about
Perfect, perfect.
what you're
Let's take
talking about. We're talking about the nature
right.
of
So
the
hear me
divine.
out. Hear me out then. Hear me out. Hear me out. So I think that they are like an obstacle or like another creation on the planet. I think that we were given dominion of this thing. I think that our job, we're God's terraformers. I think that we are to bring a heaven like place on the planet Earth. I believe, though, that in that, whatever our loss of innocence or loss of divinity, our separation from the God state when we used to walk with God and commune with God and we were separate from that state, however we describe that experience, made us have to face real obstacles. And I think they are one of them. And I think that the divine force, that divine universe has strategies, has tactics, possesses things that are specifically for us to help us overcome every obstacle and them as an obstacle. And I say in concluding, one of the reasons I believe this, like when we go to the ATRs, we look at the greater force, the universe expresses Odumare, Oloa, Olafi. And in this expression, he has agencies that interrelate to the very nature and the politics of man that he is allowed Obatala Yemiya to give in the creation of man. And that's Ogun, Oshun, and things of this nature. There would not be an entity to represent the energy of warfare, the energy of defense, the energy uh, of strategies and tactics if that was not a real thing that we were going to face on
So
this
God
planet
is a.
Earth.
I mean, I can't. You know, you're
Yeah, man. I believe that there
you're
is general
playing games.
energy.
So that's why God is an asshole.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
Yeah,
that.
that's. I
I
mean,
say
that's
that the human
what I'm
I
saying,
say
bro.
that
Like,
the human being is. That the human being
no, but you're saying that God has tricks and mechanisms and all of this stuff.
no,
Like,
no, I'm
God,
saying that the
God
human being
wants
does.
to experience World War III. No, bro.
No, I'm saying that if that can be the devil will cause a World War III if we relinquish our authority, if we fail in our duties, like you say, you have a mission. God has sent you. You are the one. If you fail in that mission, then there may be a butterfly effect, a domino effect behind you failing in that mission that you feel that you're commissioned to do. I feel like that black people have a mission that we're commissioned to do, and one of them we're custodians of of Mother Earth, Earth. We are her custodian, and we're failing in that duty, and we see it in the exploitation of her resources and the way that she's reacting to the exploitation of not just her resources of mineral, but her resources of the custodians, her peoples.
And this is why, you know, and I understand what you're saying. This is why the Gnostic doctrine and the Urugu doctrine is different. Because um, only an imperfect. Well, I won't even get into that, but um, you're really in trouble when what we're saying is the creator is flawed. You
I
know,
don't. Why do you say that's flawed?
because disease is flawed, war is flawed.
I mean, if here's my whole thing. If there was if there wasn't task and toil, if there weren't obstacles to overcome, what purpose would there be for God to experience God's self? What glory and praise would God get in that? If you didn't have an obstacle that you
God doesn't
overcame and
want.
you saw the miracle,
Uh,
you saw the absolute power of the divine in that obstacle and overcoming that. If you didn't discipline yourself through fasting and through prayer and through abstaining from everything that's on this earth, where's the glory of God in that? Especially if you have free will. One of the loves of God is that you willfully give up all of these things on the earth to push and promote a more moral, ethical lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? If we thinking that we down here and we wasn't going to experience nothing, then why would God even? What's the whole purpose of it all? What's your whole purpose of being the chosen one if it isn't to help people overcome these obstacles and things like that, to find that peace and love in the divinity if they're not going to have to fight and struggle for it?
um, just because you're put in a situation, first of all, I would say the divine doesn't want any or need any glory or praise.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so what you're looking at is the effect of something gone wrong that is outside of the divine, even the condition of this current world. What I mean? That's why even in religions it tells the stories you'll see in the beginning, like even in the Garden of Eden, there was no conflict, there was no problems until someone decided to do something different, which we call the fall of man. So no, the divine has no need for conflict and obstacles. They're
Right. The
just like,
divine
and
doesn't.
I'll put it like this: like you don't. That's like saying, I came from the hood, and so I don't want to. I don't. I want my children to experience some hard. No, you don't.
No,
You want to
you.
be able to give them everything. You don't want them to experience none of that. Whatever you want them to be spoiled little kids that's wealthy, running around, ignorant of what's going on in the goddamn hood.
However, Lex, like you said it all. If we're going to Abrahamic faiths, the fall of man. Man lost that grace in that state, man. We used to, like you said, our father Adam, may God's peace be upon Adam, used to rock with God,
All
talk with
right.
God,
So
one with God.
what
So
what
when
what conflict existed in the garden? Because you
none,
and
none, absolutely none.
all right.
And
So
then,
that is the
however,
that's the
was our
plan.
father Adam expelled from the garden? That's the point. That's where you're
Right.
not
That's what
picking up.
I'm telling you.
That's
That's
so
not part of that
in
wasn't
hold on. So in his expulsion, turmoils, trials, and obstacles were placed in the way to elevate the state of man, to suppress that Adam self in us, to get back to a God state where we commune with God. Unfortunately, that fall, that separation from God, created a real Adam self. It created the five senses. It created what you're talking about, these people who are proponent of pure science and not spiritual elevation. And we are
right.
battling against those, that Adam self. But in order to battle against that Adam self, you have to know that your God is a stern God, is a firm God. The same shit, that shit got you kicked out of the garden. If it was all love like that, you wouldn't be on the outside struggling.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Yet what you're getting around though is God's plan was the Garden of Eden.
Hmm.
He didn't
I disagree.
you what?
I disagree with that. That
You
wasn't his ultimate plan.
yeah,
No, I disagree.
that's what you're trying to get back to.
Exactly. That was his ultimate plan. I did. So you're
Well, show
saying,
me that. If that
huh?
was his ultimate plan, then no, it
So
wasn't.
you're saying that God didn't know what they would do? They tricked God. You saying that God didn't know that disobedience was ahead, that they were going
Well,
to
now we're
separate
getting
themselves?
to whether he knew
That's
or
what
not.
I'm telling you.
Hold
So
on,
the
bro.
whole
The story is not even. The story is just trying to relate something. Like it didn't happen like that. It wasn't two people roaming around in the garden. It was like
I'm not
the principle of the story is that the divine state is a heavenly state. It's a
absolutely,
state of perfection.
absolutely,
You created something else, not
absolutely.
God. So to attribute and say that God is co-signing the conflict and obstacles, no. You told your child, don't go out after 10 at night. You don't go over there because you wanted them here and you wanted them safe and you wanted them protected and everything.
Hmm.
It wasn't your plan to have them go out there and suffer and then come back.
No,
That's
no.
all I'm telling you, bro.
But
The
it
divine, the divine is love and perfect. And matter of fact,
you
the reason why a lot of this is continuing is because it can't even look upon it.
and I just disagree with that. I just It's so limiting to the divine to me. Here's one of the things. No, you don't want your child. You want your child to have all the amenities of life. You want the best for them. But if your child chooses other, if they choose that fruit, if they choose to get in the streets, I don't care how much love, I don't care how much you want to give them. If they choose that, the only thing you can do is have an open door for them. They may have to go
Exactly.
through, oh, but hear me
But
out.
it's not your
Hear
plan.
me out, like hear me out, hear me out, hear me. It is your plan. Eventually, your plan sometimes is for your child to get out there and to experience life, to grow to adulthood, to be a productive adult and contributing member to Black society. That is the plan for your child. So when your child gets out here and your child goes through obstacles and hindrances, the only thing you can do is have an open door and loving arms to nurture them back and give them the game. Give them strategies, give them wisdom, put a little money in their pocket, put some food in their belly, give them the game, give them the attributes and aspects of God to help them recognize the God in themselves to get over those obstacles and hindrances. You can't love them through this shit.
I mean,
You
that's
got to give
that's
them some real game and some real aid and assistance.
that's obvious. But
Well,
but you don't.
that's what I'm telling you. Then what are you missing about it? That's a microcosm of a macrocosm.
You
If you know,
what
there
I'm
I compare little finite selves to the infinite, but
what you're
that's a
doing
small
is
thing to a
opening the
giant.
door to say evil is natural and evil is a part of the
I'm
divine.
not I'm not saying I'm saying this. I'm saying from an ATR position. You know what I'm saying? Because that is very Abrahamic faith. I'm saying that
ATRs are
energy
imperfect, sir.
I'm saying energy is neutral. And if man decides to do evil with energy, if man decides to take a gift and turn a divine gift into some magic or some bullshit, then that's
He's out
man's
of alignment.
misdoing. Exactly.
All
That's
right,
man's
so that
misdoing.
so if he's out of alignment, then God has nothing to do with that. That's
I'm
your
saying
choice
he got
out
to.
of alignment. Because
If
when you
he's
talk like that, you're opening the door to just this is what I'm trying to show you. Now you're justifying everything that's going on when it don't have to be going. That's the problem with religion.
I'm not saying it's from. I'm not saying it's God. I'm saying that all things are from God. These obstacles,
No,
these hindrances. That's. I'm saying the decision. Everything in this world is created.
all things are from
I
God. Then why
believe.
would He punish
I
you for
believe
things?
everything in this world. When I say all things
That's
are
the
from
that's
God,
the
I
that's
believe. Hear me
that's
out,
the
Lex.
that's the
Hear me out.
devil talking. That's what I'm trying to show you,
When
brother.
I say all things are from God, I believe this. All I'm a creationist. I believe all things are created. So I mean, I even believe that the white man is
Step
created.
outside
That's
of
why.
your
Hold
right?
on, Lex. Lex. Hold on.
But
Give
I'm
me 2
asking you
minutes.
to
Give me
step
2 minutes.
outside of your belief
No,
and into the conversation.
oh, that's what I'm. So I got to explain that to you because what you would do is try to use semantics and digress. I'm explaining what I mean by from. Now I say this: once you know what I mean by all things are from God, I believe that those of us, like you say, that are aligned, use godly principles to overcome obstacles, hindrances, and I believe strategies and tactics. When done godly, I don't believe in usurping people. I don't believe in taking their shit. I believe those are evil, wrongdoers, evildoers, people who are unaligned, however we want to call it, coming against us. And then I'm like you, I believe in defending ourselves. But I do believe that they were created. That is a test from the universe. And it's on me to see how I'm going to handle it. I don't believe there's nothing I don't believe you can get around the universe. I don't believe you can get around God.
That's I'm just saying, bro. That's programming from Islamic
I
back.
man, I don't know,
That's
man. I just be thinking, I don't know, brother. I don't want to say what I think it is. When you start talking about God can't look on shit, is it God or is it you? I mean, what can God look on? Because it's so
what
ugly. Ain't nothing that's Christian programming, brother. If I've
no,
ever
it,
heard it. And I'm a Muslim and I smell Christian programming in that. God can't
that's
look on sin.
not
Come
Christian
on.
because Christians were the
Okay.
ugly people on the earth.
Right, but don't they teach that God can't look on a God doesn't look on sin or something? It
No,
sounds
what
very
it
familiar.
there's a
I'm
verse
gonna
that
get one of
says
these Christians come up here
eyes.
now. Don't make me do it.
There's a verse that says his eyes. This is what I'm talking about when you got to understand the principle like a priest. It says his eyes cannot look upon evil or something like that.
Right.
And what it mean, obviously, God is not is not it's not talking about like a vision of a man with two eyes looking at Jeffrey Dahmer or something.
Hmm.
So what it's relating is the nature of the divine in
Well,
terms of um how can I put it?
I get it.
It's talking about the nature of the divine. So what you got going on over there
So no,
is
stop right there for me for a hot second. I get it. Exactly
is
what,
not
but
even linked.
that's programming one on one though. What you just said, you're telling me your source of what God can't look on evil. You're telling me your source, and for you to quote that and repeat that and hold that and use that as
No,
your
no, it's
as
that's the
brother.
priest
Didn't you?
relate a divine principle about the
Oh,
divine.
okay, that's a divine from whose
And
teaching?
I don't even have
From
to use
who?
the Bible,
That's
but
what.
I'm saying like
But
it's
from what
every
priesthood? Would the Buddhist monk say
it
the
don't
same thing?
matter. It's not
It
a
does
certain priesthood.
matter. So
It's called a universal principle that's being
who
related, and
made it
then
universal,
your
Lex?
spirit have to be in tune to know. So what I'm trying to relate is if you look at
I think you're missing the whole point, dear brother.
no, I'm not. I understand what you're saying,
Yes. Do
but
you
you're
see where I'm
wrong.
going with it? So I can understand you may feel that way, and you're entitled to that. However, there's no getting around that is a form of programming that regardless if you're a human being and when we intake information and knowledge, even if we mix mash it, put it together, extract some deeper science from it, we have still utilized a very human source to come to a concept of our expression of the universe. And what you're at, though very articulate and very well thought out, it is still Lex's expression of what the universe looks like. And I
No,
disagree
God's expression.
through you.
No,
Okay.
No, not through me. Through me would be through my brain and my ego and my
No, no,
programming.
no, no. Through you as an instrument, but it
Uh,
through you, th- through you.
I, I
God
mean,
is using God's expression through you as an instrument, right?
you can put it like that
Okay, no
if
problem
you
with
want
that.
to.
However,
It,
now let me stop there. However, when God, the great universe, and I don't doubt your claim, I'm not one
don't
here to
know
try
what,
to debunk that, but here it is, Lex. When God uses you, though, it can only use what Lex has
brother. You
input
can't
to
justify what the Muslim.
articulate. Listen, I'm
You
not.
can't
It's
do
not
it.
a Muslim
'Cause-
thing.
no,
It's
because
just.
no, it
It's
is
not. No, it
because
isn't,
I'm
brother.
trying
Come
to show
on,
you
man.
the
Can I get
program.
2 seconds? Can I get 2 seconds? Because I knew they was waiting on the Lexi Lex and the Yangy Yang. We could do this thing.
Yeah, I know
Hold on.
you
Give
because
me.
I know the pro
I
you could
talk. No, no, no. Give me
because
two
this
seconds.
conversation condemns Islam to some degree
No,
because
hey
Muslims
man, listen.
believe
Fuck
because
Islam.
Muslims
How
believe
about
in
that?
jihad though.
We
But
can
that's
we
the
can
programming in the
I
back of your
believe
mind.
it. Listen,
Trying to tell
and
you,
I'm
divine
showing
did
you,
not
and
come
I'm
out.
showing you, Lex, and I'm showing you where you're being programmed. Here, let me go back to the point because we can be all over. Should if now I'm not gonna say the divine is using you, give thanks. However, when the divine uses Lex Vortex, the divine has to use the input, the data that Lex Vortex contains. Where did Lex Vortex get his data
No,
to
no,
express?
that's where you're wrong.
Where did Lex Vortex get his data to express the
From the divine.
form of
I
the
am
right?
no the
And
divine.
it used the data you explain. Lex,
No,
you
you're
can't
asking
speak.
me a question and I'm
Oh,
trying to answer you.
okay, you're
I
right.
use I'm using like if I quote the Bible, I'm trying to relate to people. But what I'm talking about is the divine talking itself. Now, if I use something that was put in the Vedas or the Bible, because that's what people's programming is, in order to you to show them, you know what I'm saying, that principle, and to tap into the divine where they can have the same realization, then that's what I'm doing. But when I'm talking about is what you're doing, and this is not is evil because you're not understanding the doors you're opening by saying this stuff about the divine. Because at the end of the day, you might as well become a evolutionist like when you start talking like that and saying, well, everything comes from the divine, war is part of the divine told people to go to war, and these obstacles and experiences and all of that. Now you're going into the realm of, well, this is part of the divine plan, and that's slander. And like it's like saying, okay, all of this that black people are going through now, like the Israelites, they're so ignorant. They saying that God put us through this. That's a goddamn lie.
Mm-hmm.
God did not put us through this. God did not enslave us and torture us for 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That's what I'm trying to say. And when you open that door, then we might as well, then it comes to accepting this imperfect world,
I
and saying that the divine, so all this stuff that's happened in history, what Vladimir Putin's doing, white supremacy, what the Persians did, the torturing, and all of this, that ain't part of the divine, brother.
but I would push back, Lex. Here's my pushback on that. If should that open the door for that, and people say to me, well, the divine off of that, I would say, what was our conception of the divine? Was it agape? Was it an all-encompassing love? Did we allow our enemy to snuggle up to us and cozy? Now, like you talk about evolution, like you so adequately put, now that we know better, we should do better. So maybe it is time to incorporate an aspect of a God of war. Have we not tried your love and your prayer and your all acceptance and your holding their hand, and you're not saying that God is a God that will empower us to be motherfucking bloodthirsty? I believe in my God empowering me for defense of justice and righteousness, man.
I
And,
know
and
that's the Muslim in you, bro.
I don't. Yeah, it's if you can call it the Muslim, you can call it the Christian and Nat Turner, you can call it the African Rebet Zulu, you
I'm
call it
saying
anybody that rose up
that's
and
a
called
good,
on their deities to empower them in struggle.
and that's all right. So the divine is not. doesn't care about man's crazy social political nonsense
Why
that they
doesn't it?
created out of being out of alignment.
Isn't the
That's what I'm
mission to
saying.
create a
Like,
heaven on earth
so
though?
this is what I'm saying. Like, so if you look at the politics around land, like when you look at like the Bible and Israel, they have the divine obsessed with a little piece of land, turned them into a narcissistic real estate agent. That's social political low level politics from being out of alignment. The divine encompasses the whole universe. Why does the hell do they care about a little piece of land that and it ain't even the best land? So we know that came out of the mind of some people that was out of alignment for a social political earth politics. It's not a universal way of looking at things. And so people incorporate and put God to co-sign their low-level social political narcissistic politics. And it leads back to selfishness. That's why people say, oh, that God chose us. So now God is a racist and he's favored and he has favorites. That's a something that was developed in humans from being out of alignment. Because if God is a racist and favorites, then we can't complain about anything that's happening. Because the God that and that's what I'm saying. Then that's why people do what they do, and why these religions justify what they do, and they're saying, well, this is a part of God. God favored the Israelites. God is a racist. And so
No, that
they will in turn act like racists.
right. And we know that clearly not to be true. Like I said, first of all, we're speaking
Well,
about
that's no, we
we
don't though, because that's
well,
what you
okay, well
I'm
maybe
saying
we
about
don't,
what
but we're
you're saying.
speaking about I'm talking about you and I. We're speaking about the devil. So we know, like I said, I still believe they are a creation and an obstacle to be dealt with. What I'm talking about now is time to have it is nothing wrong with having a God. And I can't believe I'm having this discussion with you. There's nothing wrong with having a God and deities that speak to our specific need. And if the
I
fence,
agree, but that's what you're missing. I'm telling you, we created those deities. That's not the divine, no.
why isn't it? Where did that come from? Aren't those aspects of the divine? Aren't they aspects of the
No.
divine? Isn't
That's
isn't
like
isn't oh
um for instance, we have the ability to create, you know what I'm saying, outside of the divine. So if I can go ahead and sit and be a lumberjack, and so I can create a deity of lumber that gives me the power to cut down trees. That's not the universal divine, though. That's me in an environment, you know what I'm saying,
I mean that's
and
so
me trying
European
to
though.
but that's not the divine.
But
Those are
that's
the idol. Those are the idols that we create.
though that's so I think that that's so European. That's so trivializing it. I think that you know what I'm saying. That really cheapens our understanding of it. You wouldn't only be the lumberjack of the tree. You would be the one who plants the tree, the caretaker of this. That it would have so much more significant meaning that goes back to
No,
the divine
on
of
from
life,
the point
of
when
about having a sanctity of life. It would speak to so much more symbolic meaning when it came from us. So we understand. That's what I'm telling you. We have my thing of really letting go of European. You talk about that Wuzugu shit. I'm beginning to wonder, brother. This whole all-encompassing love thing. It's okay to motherfucking smite thy enemy. It's okay to hit them back. And it's okay to say I hit you
it's
back in the name
something
of in the
else, bro.
name of God.
It's like I think the convo's going over your head a little bit at this
It might
point.
be.
Now
It
you're
it
bringing me
might be.
back to social political, like whether or not I think we should fight the Wazungu or not, and all of that. Like that's a
And
but
and
now
where does that
we're
fight
getting
come from?
that we're
That's what I'm
getting into
saying.
different levels. I'm
Well,
telling you
will we
that
go back? Is that not from the divine though? Is it not? So what you're telling me is not divine though. That's what you're telling me that somewhere I'm missing the mark of where I lose my divinity when I take that route. and I'm trying to figure out. I'm sincerely trying to figure out when, you calling it jihad and this and that. I get the comparisons and shit like that. I can see how it would look that way, but when does it come in? When I, as a person of God, understand transforming this world into a place that is a heaven on earth, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven type thing, where people are afforded this right to evolve naturally without intentional hindrances. When do I realize, say, okay, God, you're preparing me for a spiritual warfare to manifest itself in the flesh? When do I lose the divinity to prepare for that, train for that, and even engage in that? When does God look away from that? Am I on my own here?
Are you on your own? No, I wouldn't say you was on your own. I think I think it's more so like everybody is in the mud. Everybody is in hell, separate from God, and that's why all of this is taking place.
Mm,
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that heaven is a whole nother dimension of understanding. You fell, the fallen angels, you decided that, okay, we don't want to follow the universal laws of heaven and we want to see what this other thing is like. And, you know, I want to, I want to go, I don't want to stay home and study. I want to go to the club with the other kids too. Once you go to the
mm,
club, you out of daddy's house.
mm,
Everything that takes part in that club, the rules are different.
mm,
I didn't design them. Ain't no telling what you gonna get. There's killers in there. There's robbers, thieves. There's every possibility, all the
See,
that you want.
that's where that Abrahamic faith kick in on me. That's where you're gonna just beat me over the head with, because that's where just the Abrahamic faith kick in. I'm sorry, you're right. You win hands down, because I don't believe that. That's just my interpretation of the creationist story that leads to what
You got to be
motivates.
open to build. Like I understand you already got your beliefs, but we're having
Because
a conversation.
yeah, and so
And
I
this is
like
what
to
I
share. So
mean.
I
Like
like
you
to
keep
share with
saying
you in the
I
conversation.
don't like you
I
already
I'm being
believe all of this.
honest,
You're not even
right?
but that
I
don't mean
am
you gotta
listen.
stay where you are. Like we're having
No,
a
I listen,
conversation.
listen. Okay, if we're having a conversation, then it's about building. It's not necessarily staying where I am. I think here's where we're missing the point of conversation. You think you schooling me. What you mean stay where I am? I'm trying to share with you. I hear what you're saying, and I have some questions. It's damn sure not schooling. I'm really just listening. My thing is it's limiting to God to me. It's like my understanding of the creation story is that we possess the ruh, man. We possess the very spirit of God. I don't know about fallen angels, this and that. And we knew what this shit contained. You know what I'm saying? When possessing that spirit, God hit symbolically, God told our father Adam, name all things. And names entail nature of a thing. So God, we knew what inhabited shit. We knew the nature of these things and we chose otherwise. So we have the ability to make the. I agree with you. Hell to me is being away from God, is a being distant from morals and ethics. Um, so we have that. So it's when you say that, it's like us being tossed to the wild. I don't know what's in the club, this and that. No, we knew what was out here. We was educated as to what was out here. We chose to take this route. And if
Okay.
and okay, so hear me out. So if we choose to get back home, if we chose this route uh down here to be away from, because first we are God's got us his spirit in us, so we're having this experience, God having this experience, and if we chose other than the route that took us away from the source, we have to toil, we have to struggle, we have to discipline our body, we have to eat what's good, abstain from shit that just destroys us to get back to the state of God.
And
It ain't no
have a
we'll
body
just
like that. This is not your natural. All right, let me ask you this, bro. Let me try to put it like this. Let's take the divine and personify it as a man. And you meet this man or woman. What is its personality like? Is it aggressive?
Schizophrenic.
Does it want to rob you, steal from you, lie to you?
Schizo, schizophrenic. Uh, it depending that I don't think it would do any of those things. I think it depending on the time.
What
I don't think it would
vibration
rob. I don't
would you
think it would
feel?
rob.
Would you feel
I would feel a
what
very
I'm saying?
strong, confident,
Feel
assured
threatened, bro?
energy. No, I wouldn't feel threatened.
All right. Would it try to take something from you?
No, that's why I said I agree with you. I wouldn't feel any malintent, take robbery, any ill harm or anything like that. I'd feel a very self confident, assured, you know, powerful persona coming over. Like, damn, that's somebody I need to motherfucking get to
Would
know.
you feel love?
I don't know about loved.
Oh my God, bro.
I don't
I see
loved.
what's going on now,
I
bro.
don't.
You're bro.
No.
That's bro.
Man, you can't ask me a question and then talk about that. That's the problem with those type of questions. Because I didn't answer it your way, you think it's I don't know
No,
about
I mean I
love.
can,
Why
bro.
would I feel love
I
coming off of
recognize
him? I would feel safe. I would feel, but why are those components of love? Why
there's
would I
a
feel
demon
love
in you
from him?
that doesn't like love, brother.
Man, I love love.
No,
But
there's
I'm
a demon
not
in you. If you don't
no.
realize that love is the highest vibration, and that's
I
that
didn't
Islamic demon, bro. I'm just gonna keep
I
it
don't
real.
I'm gonna keep it. I don't think that love may not be the highest vibration. I
So
think
what is
that
the
you
highest vibration
I
if it
no,
ain't
I
love?
said I don't think it's not the highest vibration. If I said it
All
backwards,
right.
I
So
made a
then when
mistake. But here
if
it is.
God
When I think you make the
died,
mistake, no. That's where I think you make the mistake. I think that to even try to quantify, to even try to put God on the vibration, I think you mistake. I think you make a mistake I think it's erroneous to think that you know the very nature of that. I think love is the highest instrument you can use in serving the source. I do believe that.
that's
I do
Islamic.
believe that. No. Yeah, it might be. It might be. It might be. I'm not even gonna say no. That no was reflex. I'm not even gonna say no. It might be. What I'm telling you though,
Understand
I
what
think
you're
what
doing.
you're teaching is very
You're
Christian, man. I don't.
co-signing the this what I'm. And I don't think you realize it.
I don't.
You're
Lex.
you're
I'm gonna be honest.
co-signing, and then that's part of the program. And I know it took me a while to break out of it, man.
I don't know
Like
if you were
you're
programmed like I was.
co-signing you're co-signing the imperfections of what we're living in, and not realizing that you're actually justifying your own oppression right now.
I'm not just here's I'm definitely not. I don't believe God is anything evil. You got to hear me out. I don't believe God is anything evil. Do I believe or anything bad? Do I believe that exists? Yes. Do I believe you have to confront and face that thing? Yes. Do I think you have to be bold in proclaiming the glory of God? Do I believe you have to manifest that through the limbs? Yes. I believe everything else is escapism. I believe we can love. You love. Why don't you love the process? I love God in the process of fighting God's wars. You know what I'm saying? In every yeah. I love the
Yo,
and
you're
listen, and
sick,
here it is.
bro.
Every war, every Lex, you
Uh,
fight God's war every day.
God's war.
You fight God, you fight that war for God every day. Every day you get up here and proselytize for God and say what you're fighting God's war now. You're proclaiming this understanding, you're proclaiming it, love, this and that. Because you're not wielding a sword or a spear or a machine gun, doesn't mean you're not fighting, brother. Every day you're putting up a struggle. And that's what it takes. There's no way around it. That takes strategy, it takes cunning, it takes all of those things that the divine universe is
But the
giving
only reason
you
why we're here or even having to talk about those
is to
things
transform this earth
is
into a paradise.
because it's out of alignment with the
Exactly.
divine,
And
sir.
we must put it back in alignment.
Part
But
of the
you're not
divine
gonna
plan.
love it back in alignment. You're not gonna love it back in alignment.
Yes, you are.
You're gonna. I don't know.
That's the only thing
That
that's gonna
Christian
bring you
demon,
back
brother.
into
You're not gonna love it back in
that's the only
alignment.
thing
I'm gonna
that's
let
gonna
you hug them back in it then. You go
no
hug
when
them back in
I'm talking
alignment.
about
I'm not
literally
gonna do it.
hugging someone who's attacking you. That is yeah, you ain't ready.
I'm not thinking that you're talking about literally hugging someone. When I mean hugging or loving them, I'm gonna let you take that route of the divine is love and let you guys go through a conflict of when it's time to fight. Is this God? flirt with the line of hypocrisy, because every people have done that. Every people have fought, and when they stamped God on it, they had every justification in the world. Why it was God, why it was defense, and all of that good shit. Why don't we just come to accept? You need to let those Christian ways go, Lex. Come to accept that it's okay to fight. I get it. It's easier to slap Islam on it. It's easier to scare, especially the Christian minded and the Hebrew minded. If you slap Islam and Arabism on it, they're going to run from it. But the reality is, we're running from what is an integral part of man motherfucking hood. And that's struggle, toil, defense. Sometimes you got to get your knuckles bloody, buddy. You know what I'm saying? And if God ain't with you in the fight, damn, what do you want me in the temple sniffing incense all day? We already, I thought the Muslims bump their 5 times a day in prayer so they don't have to bump it in life. If you just still bump your head on your closet praying on your knees, then and you in life on your motherfucking knees, somewhere somebody got to stand up. Either I'm gonna stand up, oh fuck this God shit, or I'm gonna stand up in life. But at some point in time, it's gonna take that conflict. And I like to believe that if you are righteous and your intentions are right, and you struggling, whether that's verbally, whether that's doing what you do, or whether that's going down to Jackson, Mississippi, and helping the people. Whatever, if God is with you, take God with you. Let God manifest in the limbs. And
Mm-hmm.
and if we have to fight, please believe that God is with us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Shit, we might as well go and accept it now before we get to the point when we got to fight, and then we explain it why all of a sudden it's okay for God to turn into a war god now when we fight. When they've been doing the same shit, we might as well go and accept that being an aspect of the divine, not bloodthirsty. Man is bloodthirsty. God, I don't, believe in all that, but I'm talking about a part of shit. If you want to call it warfare, but real defense, protection, and aggression.
Yeah, you're all over the place right now, man. Maybe you might
I
want to
might be.
rewind the tape and listen to what you're saying, man. But I bow out, brother. Like, everybody's a
No, it's
different.
not about bowing out. Yeah, we just
Like,
sharing, man. We just
no, I'm
sharing.
just
I'm
saying, like,
just
but
saying, man.
it's just that I see the problems of the world. It's like, man, people, these forces got people sick, man. It's real sick. Like, if do y'all fight in the mosque?
I don't go to the mosque.
Well, when you did,
You know what I'm saying? No, man. I'm gonna tell you one of the things for me, what got me out of it was all the religious rituals and not enough social implementation. I felt played. I mean, here I'm paying dues and types and I'm learning all of this, but where's the
so let me
social?
ask you this:
Yeah.
when the even in Islam, how long does Jinnah last?
Um, I assume Jannah, if there was a time attached to Jannah, I thought it was timeless. You know what I'm saying? I thought when you went
Okay,
to
and
Jannah, it
what's
was
it like
timeless.
in Jinnah?
In the Islamic traditions, and I'm not here, let me make the disclaimer, I'm not speaking for the Muslims, just speaking from what I have studied. In the Islamic traditions, Jannah has levels. And in Jannah Fardos, in the highest level of Jannah, it's a paradise for those for desert dwellers. Everything that you don't have in the desert, you have it in on this level of Jannah Fardos.
Is there war in paradise?
No.
That's checkmate, brother. Because if paradise is where we're going to go, and that is the perfect state,
Hmm.
and none of these things that you're talking about exist there, then what's happening now is dysfunction.
Absolutely. We both agree on that. But how do
No,
you
we don't
achieve
agree. You know what?
here's where we don't agree. How do you
God
achieve Jannah
damn, bro.
Firdaus?
God
How do you
damn.
achieve the state? That's what we're
Well,
not
you tell
agreeing on.
how do you get to Jinnah?
You've The first way to Jannah is through stress, struggle, and toil. I don't even, like you say, it's gonna be jihadi when they tell you if you just die fighting, you go straight there, but stress, struggle, and toil.
So Jinnah is the perfect state, though, right?
For the Muslims. For the Muslims, yes.
The same thing for whoever has a vision of heaven, right?
Okay, perfect state, right. But how do you get there? I'm not denying the perfect
No, hold
state,
on,
bro.
hold on, hold on.
Okay, I'll walk
How do
with
you
you.
get there? That's where we're from. We fell from that, correct?
Yes,
All
yes,
right. So then
exactly.
I don't understand why, what
Be,
you, but then again you start talking about, well, we got to struggle and God, the God
right,
of war and all that. And
no,
what I'm
when you
telling you is that
mm,
this
mm,
state is not the state. The reason why you're even talking like that is because you're in hell.
exactly, we're saying the same thing, but the way we're saying the same shit. But the difference is you want to transform this hell into a paradise through loving. I know that you have to face this shit. I
No,
know you
no,
have
I'm
to.
not
Yes,
talking
brother.
about
We.
trans.
What are you talking about? If you're not talking about transforming this place that we live into a paradise, what are you talking about when we die?
I'm talking about the nature of God. It seems like you keep missing that. Jinnah is the nature of God. That's the nature. This is not what's supposed to be going on. There's no justification for this. If you justify it, then you might as well say you're from hell. This is the way things are supposed to be. This is where it is. That's why people say that's just how life is. No, this life right now is imperfect, but it's not the divine plan or the nature of God, or there would be no Jinnah.
So the nature of God is in you, correct? We should be striving for the
Yo,
nature of
bro,
God.
like what's
So if
going on, bro?
why don't you get it, bro? Here's what I'm trying to
Just
say.
told me
I'm
there's a
not.
agenda. We're talking about the nature
Yes,
of God, and then whenever I tell you, but then you start bringing me back to the social political
I'm
situation in
not
hell.
bringing. I'm not. I'm not bringing you back to that. I'm bringing you back to
So
the
why,
connection of
if the nature of God, this is what I'm saying, bro? You keep trying to say God, war is an aspect of God. Then why doesn't it
no.
exist in Jinnah?
Because what you're here's what I'm bringing you back to is the
Just answer
connection
that
of
question.
it that because Jinn is paradise.
So, but if war was a part of the nature, there wouldn't be anywhere you can go without war.
Okay, okay,
You see what I'm saying? I'm saying, do you know what the nature of something is?
yes.
So if war is in my nature, wherever I go, there's going to be an aspect of war that comes with me, right? If we take the nature of a mosquito, no matter wherever you go, mosquito is going to prey off something,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
You could take a mosquito to Mars, it's going to be looking to suck blood. It's going to be a parasite.
Hmm.
So when I'm talking about the nature of God, I'm saying there would be no such thing as paradise if war was innate in God's nature,
Hmm. Hmm.
huh?
I'm waiting for you to finish.
Man, I don't even believe you trying to respond to that. Like I don't
Yeah,
like like bro. This is what I mean.
there's a huge
It's
because
just arrogance, brother.
it's bruh, it's
You can't get around that. How would there be a paradise?
there's a huge here's what you're separating, brother. What I've been trying to allude to. Half the damn night while you've been going to this paradise of God, you're trying to excommunicate you. You're Xing you out of the fucking equation.
Exactly, because that
It's
part,
but
that's the ego, that's the
there
false
is no
self.
separation. There is
Yes,
no
there
separate,
is.
brother. There is no separation. This
Nah,
express you can't, brother. I'm gonna
bro,
tell you
you
there
got to
is.
deal with the paradise and like we're having three different conversations. I think.
I think we are
All right,
because
we
you're talking
began
about
this
a
about the nature of God,
okay.
or what,
So we're
for
talking
lack of
about
a better word.
so in order to achieve
No,
this
not
better
to achieve. Forget achieving for now. Let's get
when the
achieving,
you don't
brother.
yo
What I'm without no achieving or anything. What is the nature of God? It's paradise, right?
I don't. I. Okay. Okay. I granted that. I
Okay.
think it's just tricky.
So
That's
if
that Abrahamic faith
paradise
coming
is the
in when you.
nature of God, because when you talk about the highest heaven, even in Islam, if you're in the seventh heaven, the highest heaven is paradise. There's
But
no
why is
war
it a
there.
paradise? See, that's the point.
There's
Why
no
is
is
it?
there war in paradise?
No, there's not a war in there. But
Is
why
there
is it?
hatred in paradise?
It is not. But it is a refuge. It is an
Oh
abode
my
from
God.
brother. That's what I'm telling you. When you talk about the nature of God, you have went through the levels. You have went through the very because you're discommunicating yourself from it. You are God, son. You are God. This experience, that experience was a God experience. From the it was if you're fighting for the in the
You're
divine, it
at,
was a
you're avoiding the conversation, bro.
it is not
I'm not
avoiding.
talking
You
about.
can't separate the two. You're trying to make. I can't tell you about a pure esoterical experience of this nature without separating the two. Man is God. You are God. That is a whole part of the experience. It's divine. It's a part of God's intimacy, the universe. It's nature, if you want to speak. It's a part of it. If we're using an Islamic tradition, they say it's al-ilam. It's all knowing. It knows of that. It has a specific answer for all of those questions that you might have on that. How to handle that specific thing in a
What is
godly
the
manner.
what's the nature of a rattlesnake?
The nature, I guess, if you get in too close striking distance, or if striking distance to
Yeah,
bite you.
I think the problem is I don't think you fully understand
I may not fully understand the question. I can't
what
get into.
nature of a thing, right? So if you're saying
Yeah,
that the highest level, like if we're talking about like the highest state, that is the nature of God. If you're saying that, um, are you saying there's a devil, there's a liar in the divine?
I'm not saying that.
Yes, you are. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
How am I saying that? How am I saying that there is a liar in the divine? How are you tying all of these
All right.
ill,
Does
ill?
man, as do men lie?
Yes, men lie.
You said
And
man is God, and this is all an
absolute. And
experience.
we talked
So
about an
hold
Adam
on,
self.
brother. So I'm
Okay.
trying to bring you to. So if I'm an expression of God,
Hmm.
right, what you're saying, and I can't separate nothing, and I'm a liar, then that means God is a liar.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Oh my
Due to,
God.
like you said to you, we talked about earlier. Now, if we get into, see, I hate to go into this so-called Abrahamic faith. We talked about an Adam self. We talked about that separation of God, that quieting of yourself and of God in you, that we allow the five senses to speak. That Adam self. So, in order to feed that Adam self, man will do because it has free will. Man will do what it needs to do to feed an insatiable appetite, but you have to feed that God self. You have to feed that God in you through righteousness, through good interactions, through healthy food, all the shit that whatever you do, people have particular things to
But
activate
what
them.
from what you're saying, God also is unhealthy. You keep saying you got to feed that God in you through righteousness. So
Exactly.
what is the
Exactly.
nature, bro? What is the nature of God then? Is it righteous or unrighteous?
It's righteousness. All things righteousness. It's
So then you
intensifies the
just made
divinity,
a
baby.
so you just made a separation of God then because is the unrighteous a part of God?
No, God is righteousness. No.
So bro, like
Unrighteous behavior is not ungodly, but it doesn't separate that man from God. That man still has God attached to him.
I,
Black man.
but that's
If
not
you still
now.
because
Do you
you're
see
not
how you're
feeding your
getting
God
you're
self.
getting confused?
No, no,
Because
no.
I keep
That's
telling you we're talking about the nature. Like, bro, I can't,
what are you
bro.
saying the nature of God is? Love.
Perfection.
And that's what we strive for.
All
I get
right,
it.
so.
But you're not going to. So you're telling me. But here's what you're essentially telling me. So anytime we fight, let's get to the chase of the shit, because we can dance around wordplay. And like you said, we only confuse. You'll only confuse me. You'll win in the confusion area. So you're telling me if there's no fighting for God.
I'm telling you that in God, there's no need to fight because
So
there's no.
God is not. So God is not on the earth. How do you avoid conflict? How do you
Bro,
avoid
you
with
just
dealing real
mixing
life
up
earth?
the Nate that bro, you this is what I'm saying. And Yanga, bro, you gotta stop being so egotistical, bro. Because you're actually agreeing with me, but you're having different conversations and getting confused and thinking I'm trying to win a debate. Brother, you acknowledge that the nature of God is righteousness and perfection. And that's
Yeah.
all I'm telling you. That's the nature. What the other stuff is going on is something else. I'm talking about the essence and nature of divinity. Is
Okay.
not war. And that's why there's no war in paradise. Now, in this situation, in this third dimensional world that was created through not being aligned with the divine, all those things take place. But the nature of God is not telling no one to go kill 1 million people.
Okay.
It's not conflict. The nature of God is harmony. That's all I'm telling you, brother. Like
Okay.
I
I
don't
okay. Okay.
like the nature, not that this other stuff is not existing. Just like the nature of snake is to be distrusting, but people have pet snakes, so they don't always attack. If you're feeding it, and some people walk around with boa constrictors on their neck, and it's somewhat tame, but the nature of that snake is to strangle the fuck out of somebody.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I
You
get it.
see what I'm saying?
I get it.
The
I get it.
nature of a wolf, the nature of a lion, the nature of a so when I'm saying the very nature of God. I'm not saying that we're on earth. I'm not even getting into social political politics on earth that's fighting the white man right now. I'm
Hmm.
saying we fell from that nature. That what we're expressing and what the world is expressing and how religion expresses God, that's not the nature of God. So when someone says, God told me to go to war, I know they're lying. That's like saying, even if you know a person, like I had a friend, his name was Mark. He was just some people will call him a punk because he was just he didn't want to fight nobody. He would apologize to you and then, no man, I don't want no problem. He'll give you his last. It was just his nature. So someone came to me and told me Mark said this. I'll be like, nah, you're lying, bro. I know that's not that he couldn't do that though. You see what I'm saying? It's just not his nature. If someone told me that a mosquito um decided that out of love I wasn't gonna drink their blood today, they're lying. You see, that's what I'm trying to relate,
What?
brother. The
Man,
nature of a mosquito
why
is
you?
there's no compassion in terms of their nature doesn't show compassion, bro. They just want to eat. They want to suck some blood. They will parasite off you. So the
What?
nature of God is there's no war in the nature of God.
Why didn't you just say that?
What?
No, I'm just fucking.
I'm
I'm
trying to
just
say
fucking.
that, G. I think y'all just like
Nah,
arguing with me, man.
I can see that, man. I can see it. When you killed it when you was like, yo, you ain't trying to win debate. Calm down on your ego. Listen to it. Touche.
Yeah,
Touche.
brother. I'm not trying
Touche.
to. I'm
But
trying to. Let's just
touche.
elevate together, brother. It's
Yeah,
not really
touche.
like a.
I
You
if
know what
you
I'm
say the
saying? Like
nature, when the nature, touche.
the
Yeah,
divine
yeah.
nature, and what I'm saying is that while there is heavy stuff in religion that decide that, like, you read the Quran, there's beautiful things that describe Allah, but within that is human politics. that they're also ascribing to Allah. That's what I'm saying. Like, like, so it's just like when they bombed America, George Bush and them act like Jesus they had a prayer
Mm-hmm.
ceremony before they went and bombed Afghanistan, as if Jesus was co-signing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying. We gotta, and in these religionist books, people ignore, they're not unable to separate the divine knowledge of the divine in there and the social political human bullshit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
God wanted me to take your land. That's not the nature of God, because the nature of God is there's an unlimited supply. So why would we have to fight over anything?
Mm.
I know God. I know that there's an unlimited supply of God. So I know you lying if he's telling you to fight over some oil or some land or whatever.
Lex, it might
And
be something to
and
you,
I'm
man.
saying that's the problem in the world when I say people slander the divine. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because now Putin is justified in what he's doing. The white man's justified in what he did because that's just the nature that's just natural. War is natural, and yeah, but it's not the nature of the divine. You know what I'm saying? That's why when we go back to what I was saying about the garden, where was the nature then? It was like this was there. It is for you. It's nothing but you. People can't imagine. This is what I'm saying. People have been so used to suffering, and that we have accepted suffering as natural. But when
Mm.
you read the ancient stories, no, it was supposed to be nothing but joy. And then they tell you these lies like you can't have joy without pain. That's a lie. The nature of God is eternal bliss and joy. And so this is what I be trying to relate to people. Like, people say, well, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the sunshine if there was. Yes, I will. That's why I want to move to Hawaii. I do not need rain to appreciate make it 85 degrees every day with no rain.
So you good?
Every day.
You good? You good with that?
Yeah, brother.
Give me
Yo,
85.
y'all be trying to fight the chosen one of God. I don't know why y'all want to fight the prophet,
Hey
man.
man, you gotta,
I know, now I
you
know
gotta
what
put them up.
Muhammad and Buddha and Jesus and them was going through, man.
You
Y'all
put
are
them up,
hard headed, man.
man. You gotta put them up. You know they went through it. Get somebody. You need to have somebody walking around behind you chronicling this shit.
But you
Not
see what I'm
because
saying, though,
no,
hey,
I
Yankee.
do,
I
I
think
do,
you
I do. I see what you. All due respect, man. All bullshit aside, I see exactly what you said. You know what I'm saying? I had
could.
to
Do
hear
you
that
need
one.
rain, or do you need rain?
No, not really.
To appreciate 85 degrees every day. I'm
No.
saying that God's nature is perfect weather every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, in that if everyone was actually living in the nature of God, there would be no war. There
Mm-hmm.
would be no disease. There would be no suffering.
Yeah.
None of that. So
Yeah.
when we start talking about and like God is with me in war, I'm saying that that is a disposition of man's lower animal social political games that they play. Because
Mm-hmm.
even if the white man, if he was in God's nature, for instance, right now, if they entered God's nature, they would end that war in the Ukraine. They would realize that it's nonsense. Like, it was like, okay, well, how, like, we can stop this suffering right now. Like, what's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you want some of the oil? There's enough to go around. Like, we're not gonna run out. We don't have to
Mm-hmm.
suffer. We're suffering, and what I'm saying is because of these and this is what I believe, that the lies, we say things like the lies of the devil, but it's just like the misunderstanding of the nature of God and what people attribute to God. It's like
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to suffer. It's not necessary. But we suffer because we don't know the nature of the divine. So, but the world tells us, especially people that don't believe in the divine, that this is natural. Like, if you get Ankh on here, what I'm saying is you wouldn't sound too much different. Well, this is nature. Everything, it's survival. Nature is trying to kill you. Like, we're gonna fight over resources. That's just, the way nature is we're all in the jungle. So you see how that, and that's really the philosophy of Satanism, which gets into a whole other thing, but it's really the philosophy of Satanism is that goodness and all of that is just a pipe dream made up in man's mind. The universe has no purpose. There's no divinity. And nature says that might is right, that something else is going to eat something else. All this get along stuff that you're talking about. And that's what makes people wicked. And they don't even realize that's demonic. That's what's really demonic. The philosophy in their head that, yo, you got to kill to survive. It's kill or be killed, might or right. You see what I'm saying? When that's not the nature of the divine. But,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the Wazungu teaches. Social Darwinism, survival of the fittest, nature is doggy dog. They take the divine and they don't know the nature of the divine. And they mix that in with their religions. You know, like what sense does it make if, for instance, even in what you were saying in terms of is God with me when I fight war? And if God is, but ain't God in them too? So what's wrong? Why couldn't God just activate in all of us to stop the war?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, even like, oh, he's with you and against them, but he's in all of us. So now he's in conflict with himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if one tribe fight another, and one tribe is saying, well, God is with us. And even the aggressor, you would have to say, well, God is in them too.
Mm-hmm.
So now it becomes strictly perception and the wrong perception. So there's something wrong with both of you, obviously, or it doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? And so now when things happen, like, people accept it. Oh, that's just life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hear people say there will always be poor people. See what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they even had Jesus say that bullshit in the Bible. The poor will always be with you. You a goddamn lie. There's no need for poor people because there's nothing in the universe that says there's anything is impoverished. There's an endless supply. You
But
see what I'm
it,
saying? Like,
yeah, but in all of this perception, what about the people that believe in reincarnation and you go through certain things for certain reasons and come back again to experience it in a different way or get a chance to do it right? I don't, like I said, I don't want to speak for them. And then I know I shouldn't have did that because I'm starting a whole new live and I don't even want to be on here much longer. But isn't isn't it about perception?
it is about perception. And I'm saying is, if we all were looking through the perception of the divine, then all obstacles would go away. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's a simple algorithm, but the point of my conversation with you was the nature of the divine. So we got some people talking about just a little bit of rain for the trees, and like that's what I'm saying. Like it's like like it's like, come on, people go past the point, and it's all ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm your teacher, all right, y'all. So you don't have to like it, you don't have to like me, but you can't come against it because the divine is speaking. Like, so no, but no one, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying, like, are you saying that you don't, if like, even if you have a wife, we can simplify it, or a mate, you're trying to say y'all gotta have bad sex sometime? No. No, you don't. You don't ever have to have anything bad to appreciate anything. That's a lie from the devil. So they can justify the bad stuff. We can have a perfect, now here we're not perfect right now. So yeah, But what I'm saying is the nature of the divine. And people don't seem to be able to make that connection. I'm talking about the divine,
Hmm.
the
Because
nature.
I get it, and I can get why it may be difficult for people to make the connection. It was hard for me to make the connection because there again, it's a lot of people, we're still operating and we're learning from coming out of sensory perceptions. You may have gotten that, God may have given it straight to you and shown you the nature, but we're still learning to incorporate and grasp, really
Right,
being
because
one
we're
with the
just so
creation.
used to
So
every day,
yeah, well,
you know,
absolutely, because a lot of us, like me personally, my belief, my personal beliefs is that it is an experience that Yanga am God having an experience that only Yanga could give God. You know what I'm saying? That this avatar is housing the spirit of God, and God wants to experience its creation. It wanted to know itself through, and God is in all, in these things. It wants to see its
but
creation. We
tend
when the
to go to war. Like that's why it says like
if that was a part of, if
that's
that
your
was
flesh. That's why
right,
I say the spirit war against the flesh. Like
if
that part of you is not God.
if that was a part, right, if that was a part, I can yeah, if that's a part of the experience, it's like I look at life like this, like obstacles and challenges and opportunities to present God. You know what I'm saying? And so even if that's in conflict, I can't, you've won me over to the thing. I say war is the nature of God. Nah, I can't
Yeah,
say
I
that
know
like
you
that.
know
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
I know you know
Yeah,
better.
I can't.
No, but
You
I hear
won me
what you're
over to that.
saying
But yeah, I
in
just
terms
believe that
of
all of the is God having an experience, a complete experience. And if should that unfortunate, ugly incident arise, the God in me, here's an opportunity to still be. I must still remain to the best of my ability divine when confronted with an ugly conflict.
that. Now here's now. Now we're moving to the next level. That is actually the real challenge of divinity and the story of Christ consciousness. The ultimate level of divinity. You are in the story of Christ, and then I'm about to get a little Christian mystic, but I'll be. You had this divine. You had God enter the world of darkness. It said he entered the world, and the world knew him not. Right, and so now you're really getting into, all right, can you be the divine in the midst of the darkness? Because this world is described as darkness. And this is why you get, and that people don't like to hear that because it's not easy. But this is why, when we hear things like turn the other cheek, or even Christ going to the cross and on the cross saying, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. You're talking about that's, and then he says he overcame, but that's how he became. And he said, I overcame the world. The world is the challenging your divinity. It's easy to be like, well, if you smack me, I'm gonna smack you back. And no one logically will say
With the
it's
strength of
wrong.
God, fire your ass up.
Thing is, actually, the divinity is transcendence. Transcendence. So when you begin to walk, deserts start to flourish. When you come around, see, in Christ consciousness, when you reach a certain level, the kingdom follows you. When you reach that high level of divinity, when you walk in the room, the demons flee and everyone is at peace. Disease flees. The imperfections of the world, that's the transmutation. So when when you read the Christ consciousness story, people were talking about heaven and going to heaven, and Christ consciousness said, I'm here. The kingdom is upon you. What are you talking about? It's here right now because I'm here. That's why disease is fleeing, demons are fleeing, everyone's at peace, everyone's eating, everyone's doing that. Because he that's in you is greater than he that's in the world. And that's a whole nother, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
depending on the
that's a
conversation
yeah,
we're
that's
having.
deep. Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? That's
yeah, because
Christ
that's
consciousness.
yeah. See,
So
because that's
when
deep.
when Christ comes around, the person with cancer can't even have it no more,
Man, you
because
know
that
what?
and that imperfection can't
I'm gonna
even
stop.
be around me.
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna save you. You about to get kicked out of Black Land. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna stop you right there. So,
How am I getting kicked
they
out of
go,
Blackland?
man, you can't be dropped, man. That's you. I didn't let you get enough. That's a little too Christian to talk about his concept and consciousness. I can't. We ain't breaking it because if we get to make up our, if we add to our African consciousness over there and our blackness, maybe we need to start looking at: are we allowed to fuck with the nature of divinity? Maybe we need to look at a little aggression. Cause I
Well,
don't know. I'm having a hard time winning over to a little bit of, I'm old school Elijah Muhammad, a little bit of the spookism, the disease fleeing and shit like that. I believe that disease fleeing and all of that is the advancement of, even I would say, STEMIA, science, technology, engineering, and math. It's because of our advancement as there again, that God
well,
man.
it don't necessarily have to be magical, but like I'm saying, like you might uh well well, if you can't really get with that, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
But
it's yeah.
you could be using herbs or whatever it is. But like what I'm saying is it's vibratory, just like an instrument. You click, you hit the C note on one instrument, the C note on on another instrument starts to vibrate. So if I'm vibrating the same way, it's like music. So it's just like when certain people come around, everyone wants that person around. They call them the life of the party, to simplify it. Yo, that's Jay. Now Jay just has this vibration about him that put everybody at ease.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
That's casting
mm-hmm,
out demons.
mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
understand what I'm saying? So
mm-hmm.
like, but when certain come around, like when Ghanacracy takeover comes around, everybody just starts arguing and fighting. That's a demon.
Yeah, take shots at GTO.
You
leave, leave GTO
know
alone.
what I mean? So
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's all I'm
yeah,
saying. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah.
just like Martin Luther King in the city, some people have a problem, but like, the change and effect he had with his Christ walk was more effective than a lot of people that had the other thing. It's like, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm,
it's like it's really talking about a vibration. You know what I mean? When we talk about
mm-hmm,
and that's not Christian. Christ consciousness existed before that story was even in a Bible form. You know what I'm
mm-hmm,
saying? That's what the Buddhists practice. If you don't believe disease flees, bro, I have experienced the vibration of real Buddhist monks.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? They spend so much time in meditation and in meditation on pure thing that when they lay their hands on you, you feel it. You feel it. Like you will feel a surge of energy run through your body type shit. And they
mm-hmm,
can heal people. That's documented. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
So that's just the transfer of energy. Because when you talk about disease or whatever it is, everything has a vibratory rate. Cancer has a vibratory rate. Love has a vibratory rate. Anger has a vibratory rate, right? And the highest rate is what's going to resonate. So that's just how music works. You start playing music, people start moving and dancing.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes you can't even help it because the vibration is hitting you.
mm-hmm,
A person is an instrument too. You hold the vibratory rate. So when you come around, you affect, since we're interconnected, you affect people around you.
Hmm.
And you can be um and your effect can either be positive or negative, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by disease fleeing, demons fleeing. I don't, it ain't necessarily got to be the Exodus, like somebody actually, and the whole sensationalism or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
you
I'm
might, there's
I'm
somebody you might
teasing a little
call.
bit. I definitely believe that. I'm teasing a little bit. I definitely believe that. You know, I'm
Like,
but I'm always gonna tie a social plug to it because I don't want us to think I don't. I believe in spiritualism. I believe in a healthy dose of spiritualism. However, I'm still leery of how and no shots of that man, but how because sometimes you know even
but
if
it's different levels, Yenga.
yeah, but it still
And
smells a
like,
little
I don't
christening,
have
man.
this
This
conversation with everyone. Like, you know what I'm saying? The gods deal in a certain way depending on what
indeed,
environment you're in.
indeed.
So,
But
you
that's
know
what I'm
what I mean?
saying, and it's not just the terminology. It's just the philosophy. Do we want to? I mean, I question just where the whole philosophy of love and just this uh, concept comes from. Even the way that you
Yeah.
derive at the conclusion, which I think is beautiful. I totally
All right, let
accept
me
now.
ask you then. Let me ask you this then, since you say that. If everyone, this is hypothetical, pipe dream, and everything, but if everyone did love, what would the world be like?
It'd be a wonderful place, baby. It'd be so beautiful.
All right, so
It'd
then
be
what are you
beautiful.
talking about?
No, I
That's
I
the
don't. Yeah, yeah. Listen,
answer.
listen. I
So
don't think. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't
that
think
has to be the
that
highest
I,
vibration.
I, and it may be the highest vibration. I'm not arguing with that. You've won me over to that damn war may not be the nature, according to that argument and that beautifully drawn conclusion. However, if we're the only people loving, if we're aspiring and going for this goal and don't incorporate other things, I mean, haven't we? Where do we get that from? Is what I'm saying. At the very least, should we not challenge it? Is it not time to maybe even question the nature of what we've been told? Is it and make that more specific to us?
You
Fuck
talking
everybody
socio
else.
political?
Even that. I think that doesn't everybody's divine, social, and political. Maybe we're too busy trying to divorce ourselves from the reality of this world that the way we're arriving at our conclusions of the divine are based on our need to be divorced from this
You
world.
have, that's a great point. And you know what that means?
What's that?
That yes, if you walk with love, you will be crucified
Hmm.
in this world, in its current state. Exactly.
Hmm.
And that is the challenge though. You know what I'm
So
saying?
that's the
But that,
no. That's the noble road.
yes, that's what I'm saying. That is
See,
the
that's too
straight path.
Christian
That's
for
the
me.
Sadat
Noble
Thou
about
Mustaqim.
suffering and crucifixion.
Huh?
What's noble about suffering and crucifixion?
No, it's a sacrifice. So it's like somebody jumping in front of a bullet for you. What would you feel about a prayer if
You
you was
said
gonna
we don't have to suffer and shit, though. You said we don't have to do this shit. We ain't got to suffer now. I said ain't God ain't no war because
now?
you told me we
Come
don't.
on, stop, Yankee. You're starting to
I'm
mix
just
that
fucking with
in.
you. I'm
Start
fucking with
that.
you. I,
So
I
imagine
mean, yeah.
if somebody, like the whole, if you was about to go to the electric chair, and then all of a sudden, right before they was about to pull the plug, they didn't. They let you go, and you're like, "What's going on?" And they said, "Well, there was this man who said he would go to the electric chair for you." How would you feel about that person?
I'd be so thankful. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that that road is the Sadat Al Mustaqim. That, and it's not easy. That is not for this conversation. Like,
Yeah.
that's not for the idiots listening and like trying to bring it into the social political realm, that is always going to get persecuted because the devil says that's some punk shit. But
I,
ultimately, the nature of the divine, if if Putin was filled with love, if he got filled with love right now, he would stop that war though. But people would say he was a punk, that he failed. And he would feel like he's in a position, Putin's in a position now he feel like he can't turn back because of what the world will say about him. Oh, you were weak. You're going to look weak. I thought you was big bad Russia. That's egotistical. That's the devil. But if he would feel, if he somehow got overwhelmed with love, he would say, man, I'm going to stop killing these people.
hmm,
And that's not an easy, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
But that's not everyday talk. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go into the projects in Compton unless, you know what I'm saying, amongst the wolves and talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was really about that life, if I was really at that point of really expressing the true nature of the divine,
Nigga, if you
I
was
can,
a gangster for Jesus, nigga, if you was a
yeah.
gangster for Jesus for real, cuz? No, I'm just playing.
You know what I'm saying? You don't war for peace, you peace for peace. That's
Okay.
the ultimate path of enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Buddhists live like they live. And that
Mm-hmm.
is, you know what I'm saying that that is a whole nother esoteric discussion that the evil world cannot even, like, I know what I'm saying right now. The demons listening is, oh, this nigga's crazy. Like that love, like 50 Cent, love to get you killed. Like that's the world though. That's the darkness of the
Mm-hmm.
world. But if
Mm-hmm.
you are really on that path, you're
Mm-hmm.
willing to pay that price.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the price Martin Luther King paid.
Mm-hmm.
But look at the effect.
Of it that it had. Listen,
Exactly.
Lex, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. On some shit, man. I appreciate that. And at the end of the day, man, I willingly go out, uh, head bowed, humbled out. Love has to be the highest vibration. I appreciate being the antagonist in this whole motherfucking exchange. Some of it ego, some of it fucking with you. But truly, you presented a good argument. At the end of the day, if we all overcome with love of God, love of our neighbor, the real shit, that a lot of this would be solved. A
That's
lot.
all I'm saying.
That's it.
I'm
I
not
get it.
gonna
I
go
get
out
it.
here
I get it.
tomorrow and be like,
I
as the
get it.
white man is coming
I get
with,
it. Now, so
like,
yeah, I get it. That's the highest form. So so with that being said, absolutely, absolutely. But get some more. It's hard to win me. I'm a old militant. I'm an old dude sitting on the porch
no,
with the
I
old
know, bro.
carbine, peeping out the window like Malcolm. Got clips duct taped
I
together
go
type
against
shit.
my own doctrine sometime when I get pissed off. Like nigga,
Yeah.
fuck that. I want to cut these niggas' heads off. You know what I'm saying? But that
Indeed.
is the discipline, though. If you really want to be about that life and you want to talk about transcending,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? That's not the conversation for most of these people on YouTube or whatever, though, or dealing with this social political situation on Earth, because basically people are gonna be like, "You's a punk," and that's how we got in the first
Mm-hmm.
place. The white man, you know what I'm saying? That's an individual path too. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't, like, a whole crowd of people are not gonna walk that path. That's a definitely, if you want to talk about individual, it'd be beautiful if the collective, but that's not this world. But
Yeah.
that individual path, that's what sends you straight to the seventh heaven.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the resurrection. Like when you resurrect, you're in paradise.
Yeah.
That's the reward for that path.
That's it.
Not
Man.
many gonna be able to do that. That's why they asked us to be right back here reincarnating for the thousandth time.
Exactly. That's why they
But
come
yeah,
out.
brother, I know you trying to get out of here, man.
Yeah, I'm a call it a night, brother. Assalamu alaikum. I'm
Walaikum salam, man.
my brother, my brother spent tonight. No, like always, man, I appreciate you following through. Shouts out to the dark side. Shouts out to everybody that fell through. Thank you guys, man, for coming hanging out with me again, man. My man Vortex. He come through with the sky. He take the haggling, he take the harassing, still gonna deliver like Vortex gonna deliver. Yeah. So I had to bow out that one gracefully, man. When he gets down to the nature of God, you gonna let the truth be the truth, man. Brother did his thing, man. Appreciate him following through. If I hear from my man Anka Cat, we'll know. I'll let you guys know. Look for some more great shows. Follow up to what happened on Mississippi. That's some real shit. We'll follow up with that. Oh, let me send my shouts out too, man. I ain't even send shouts out. Shouts out to SVDL, the greatest debate league out there. Can't forget. Looking forward to the up and coming things, man. Shouts out to debaters at SVDL. Shouts out to just, all the content creators. I was talking to another influencer, another content creator today, and I was expressing to them how hard it is. Like, I'm on baby elementary level of the game, real shit. Like, not even door, and it takes a ton. So shouts out to those people out there who have put in the time and work to bring entertainment, education, to hot topics, all that they do. Let's hit them numbers, man. If they roll in and I click, let's hit them numbers. I'm gonna start getting a list. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start getting a list, man. We get them shouts out, man, and let's start getting those numbers up for the people. With that, man, I'm gonna shout out. Good night, introvert. Peace. With that, man, I'm gonna give everybody my peace, man, and I get up with y'all next time.